workers programme. It argues the current system is broken and prevents officials from tackling critical labour shortages. The Home Affairs Minister, Claire O'Neill, said Australia had to, as she put it, skill up or sink. The government says Australia needs to be more assertive in the global race for talent. Phil Mercer reports.
The government considers the complicated and outdated migration system to be a barrier to prosperity. It wants the country to be less reliant on temporary workers who will be given more opportunities to stay permanently. The review says it's important that Australians don't feel threatened by economic migrants.
The State Department in Washington has said it won't allow a Sri Lankan provincial governor to enter the United States because of gross human rights violations. Wasantha Karanagoda was accused of a series of killings while serving as a naval officer in the Sri Lankan Civil War. Local authorities dropped charges 2 years ago, but US officials said credible evidence from independent investigations showed he was responsible. BBC News.
Welcome to Living in Space on the BBC World Service with me, David Baker. We're the world's radio station, and today we're going to be taking that idea even further. Step outside one night and look up into the sky.
We need to sit down and have a dialogue with regards to the future of space.
In amongst the stars, you should be able to see a tiny red dot, Mars.
When a crisis comes, you cannot live on the Earth. Probably space would be the better choice.
200 million kilometers away, the next planet in our solar system feels impossibly distant.
And everybody will be under a lot of pressure there because of the way we're living so far from home.
But we've already landed robotic crafts on its surface. And in the not too distant future, we'll be building human settlements there.
It's time for a new kind of astronaut, the younger generation. It's time for them to go out and not only explore the new worlds, but to settle new worlds.
And when that happens, stepping out on an evening won't just mean gazing up at the heavens. It will mean people in the heavens gazing down at us.
The company vision is to build the infrastructure and the foundation that enables eventually millions of people to live and work in space.
In this program, I'm going to be asking what human settlements in space will be like, who will be living in them, and how they'll be organized.
We have to think of a solution that is good for the entire human race, not just for one race or for one country.
Our first stop is a lot closer to home. Bristol, a city in the southwest of Britain, among the crowds milling around on the harbour side on a sunny September afternoon.
Inside there's hydroponics.
Plants are being grown hydroponically without soil, which might be a way that you would grow plants on Mars. We're in our hydroponics research area, so we're surrounded by a few plants that have been grown here, and they've all been chosen for their sensory qualities. So they're plants like sage, lemon balm, and there's a big basil plant behind here. My name's Ella Good, I'm an artist, and I am leading this project with my friend and fellow artist Nikki Kent. Hello. The project is called Building a Martian House. It is a prototype of how you could live in a house on Mars.
Ella and Nikki's project is a continually evolving work of art, exploring what it would be like to live on another planet.
The lower floor, that would be part of your rocket that you travel there with all the life support systems already in it, so that the people who arrive, they don't have to build their own life support systems, and they know they definitely work because they've survived the journey. So that is what the lower floor is, but then you want more space than that when you live on Mars, and that's why having an inflatable design really works, because it packs down very small and is very light, and then when you get there you can inflate it and fill the walls to make them thick and filled with the Martian regolith, so that you can protect yourself in some way from the radiation as well.
Ella and Nikki think all of us should be involved in working out how we will live in space.
We've been working with engineers and scientists and architects to talk about the feasibility of the building, and then involving the public and families and school children to talk about how might you live in it. So, and we thought we'd come back to the house today and start here just so we could kind of reflect on what we've started.
And I was experimenting with human hair. This is something that then I created. Maybe
once a week, Nikki and Ella invite anyone who wants to come and actively design the actual features of this Martian house. These workshop participants create designs that will meet the needs of the fledgling community they imagine themselves to be part of on Mars.
Well, how would a new community in this new place function? How it could look really different to how we live on Earth. And how does that reflect in how we work together here?
And everybody will be under a lot of pressure there because of the way we're living so far from home.
You need to have people around that will help you out, because that's what you refer to is literally just describes collaboration as well.
Sharing. Social contract to decide how we live and function together, because I'm a firm believer that you can't really decide by committee, because that kind of dilutes good ideas.
That is not having the effect of keeping sustainable play within a licensed environment. So again, that data that we're collecting is going to be hopefully very valuable evidence as the government now moves to consult on some of the specific issues they're looking to address with this white paper.
Now, we're told that there may be a 1% compulsory levy on gambling company profits to help treat addicts. I mean, bearing in mind what you've just said about being a listed company and shareholders having certain expectations of you, can you survive that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the industry has made commitments to funding anyway, and we've been moving in that direction. For us, the most important thing with any monies raised in this way is that it goes to fund or continues to fund the charities that are doing very valuable work in this space already, and also that it funds truly independent and evidence-led research. That's a good thing for the industry. So we're not overly concerned with that.
A number of MPs have expressed concerns that the legislation may be watered down following campaigning by groups such as yourself. How much have you spent on lobbying?
Yeah, look, I mean, we have looked to engage with the government as this white paper process has evolved. That will continue to be true through the consultation. I think it's really important here to acknowledge that there's a very fine balance to try and strike with gambling regulation. It's a pastime that's enjoyed by millions and millions in the UK, and the industry will acknowledge that there are problems and there is harm that can be caused, but it's at very low rates. And even though, the harm itself can obviously be serious and severe, but to get that balance right, to continue to ensure that sustainable play takes place within the licensed environment is really important. So we've obviously looked to engage and to make representation so far in the process, and we'll continue to do that.
Before I let you go, you obviously sponsor a number of football clubs, including Glasgow Rangers and Middlesbrough. How much of a hit to the business is phasing out that sponsorship going to mean?
Yeah, look, the Premier League have made a decision to take a voluntary change with the way that gambling companies can sponsor on the front of shirts. We're really proud of our model of sponsorship. We have two key aims when we sponsor clubs. The first is that we invest in the club and its community to drive benefit there. So our partners have been able to scale up a lot of efforts around mental health in their communities, etc. And the second is that we've used the most prominent assets to promote safer gambling behaviour. We've gone from a couple of years ago somewhere between 20 and 30% of our customers using safer gambling tools to now well over 50%. And there's no coincidence there that we've been putting safer gambling messages and the use of control tools on the front of shirts, etc. So, we think that there are ways that football and gambling should continue to work together, and that can be for the benefit of the football clubs, and it can be for the benefit of their communities, but also for the benefit of achieving an environment that's sustainable for gambling as well.
Okay, Neil, got to leave it there. Appreciate you joining me today. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Some other business news stories for you now. And a strong showing in China and other emerging markets have helped AstraZeneca to better than expected results during the first 3 months of the year. The drugs giant reported sales of $10.9 billion for the quarter. That was unchanged on the same period a year ago. However, stripping out the impact of COVID vaccines, where demand has fallen, sales were ahead by 15% year on year. Pascal Soriot, AstraZeneca's chief executive, said he was impressed by the growth and pace of innovation he was seeing in China, which underscored the competitive advantage of the company's leading presence there. Well, AZ continued to enjoy strong sales growth among its blockbuster cancer treatments, but Farxiga, which is its medication for type 2 diabetes, heart failure and chronic kidney disease, also grew sales by 37% during the quarter. The household and consumer goods giant Unilever said this morning that it expects to raise prices less aggressively during the rest of the year. The company, whose brands include Persil, Dove, Magnum and Marmite, said that inflation would add around €1.5 billion to its costs in the first half of this year, before being significantly lower in the second half, which would mean price increases would taper off. But the company stressed it did not expect to see cost deflation. Well, Alan Jope, the outgoing chief executive, said Unilever had only passed on around 3/4 of the cost increases it had been experiencing to its customers. Sales during the first 3 months of the year rose by 10.5% on an underlying basis to €14.8 billion, which was better than expected. A strong performance from its credit card business and its UK retail banking division helped Barclays raise pre-tax profits periods during the first 3 months of the year by 16% to a better than expected £2.6 billion. Well, that was despite the lender having to set aside £524 million to cover loans it does not now expect to be fully repaid, chiefly among US credit card customers. Well, the bank's ring-fenced UK arm saw its profits in the quarter rise by 30%, thanks to an increase in the net interest margin. That's the difference between what it charges borrowers and pays deposits on the back of the Bank of England's interest rate rises. Well, Barclays said its income from consumer loans had fallen as customers had reduced their borrowing and taken a more prudent approach. And Sainsbury's has reported a drop in full-year profits as the benefits of COVID-driven grocery sales unwound and the company failed to recoup all of the cost inflation it has been incurring. Pre-tax profits during the year to the 4th of March fell by 5% on an underlying basis to £690 million. Well, Simon Roberts, the chief executive, said this also reflected the fact that Sainsbury's had spent more than £560 million on price cuts during the last 2 years. He said that as a result, the UK's second largest supermarket was the best value compared with its competitors than it had been for many years. Now, last year was a tough one for Klarna as the fintech company saw its valuation cut from $46 billion to $7 billion in its latest funding round. The specialist in buy now, pay later services also racked up a $1 billion loss. But undeterred, the company is today announcing the first of its twice-yearly product updates. Well, joining me now is Sebastian Siemiatkowski. He is the founder and chief executive of Klarna. Sebastian, good to see you this morning. What jumps out at me here is that you're looking beyond BNPL services.
Yeah, very much so. And thank you for having me back. But it's actually been part of Klarna for a long period of time, right? I mean, over a third of our transactions are already debit transactions, pay now transactions. And we have for a long period of time believed that financial services are going to transform dramatically over the coming decade. Basically becoming this, AI-powered digital financial assistant that helps you save time, save money, make you less worried about your finances. When I heard you referring to that Barclays profit, I was just thinking again, I mean, it's amazing the excess profits that exist in this industry. And it's been because of the lack of customer mobility, lack of proper competition due to the high barriers of entry. We're now using the AI tools, and Klarna has 150 million consumers to start offering more and more richer services in product search, in product discovery, in retail banking associated products. And it's very, very exciting since there's so much opportunity to bring better services to consumers in this area.
You mentioned using AI more to personalise shopping counsel for consumers. Give me an idea in practice what that might look like.
Well, I think, the vision of Klarna since 2015, when we pivoted in this direction, was already back then AI, right? So we had this idea that where are banking services eventually going to end up? And we thought one day you wake up in the morning and your computer will tell you, a digital financial system will tell you, hey, I've analyzed your mortgage, or I've analyzed your spending, or I've analyzed your electricity bills, or whatever it might be. And I realized that I could save you X pounds, let's say £10 on your mortgage a month, by switching from bank A to bank B. And best of all, I'll do all the paperwork for you. The only thing you need to do is to say yes. And so when you when you think about that, you realize that's going to happen. Like that's the direction of financial services. What it also means is it means the end of those excess profits that you were referring to in Barclays. Those excess profits are gone. You know, banks have been obsessed, as you said, about maximizing interest rate spread. So giving you as little as possible in your deposit bank and maximizing your cost of your borrowing. Now, that's not possible in the world where you have a digital assistant that helps you and can move and help you move between different providers. And that's the world we're moving towards. And obviously for Klarna then being active in this industry, we want to be that digital financial assistant. And so when we now started seeing things like ChatGPT, OpenAI, we were like, wow, things that we thought would take maybe another 5 to 10 years to accomplish, we actually see can be accomplished in, a few years. So it's super exciting. I think we're applying AI now in 14 different services. Internally, we're doing tons of different projects and initiatives, and we're exploring the technology. And I am amazed and surprised. And I think it's going to have very, very real implications on all businesses, and much faster than anything we've seen before. I expect to see very, very major implications already 1 or 2 years from now. And you got to remember, this comes from somebody who was like always very skeptical of new stuff. Like I've been, skeptical about crypto for 10 years and still is. So I'm not the person that usually would be alarmistic about new stuff, but this is different.
You mentioned there that you are partnering with ChatGPT, but as you say, you also have your own in-house AI capability. How much are you spending right now on that?
A lot, and increasingly so, right? We've also have fantastic talent that has experience from this from all over the world, not the least China, which is, if you take as an example, when it comes to product recommendations and product search, in the Western world, we're still used to searching, while we're not blown away by recommendations of products to ourselves. Like if you look at China, a few years ago, when it comes to e-commerce, 80% was search driven and 20% was product recommendations. Nowadays, you open the Chinese e-commerce apps, 80-90% is recommendations. So it's products finding you, saying like, this is an awesome product for you. And only 10-20% of the purchases actually comes from search. Right. So that's, you see how far in advance that AI has become to help you find the products that are relevant for you. And that's why it's obviously very keen to us, because a massively growing part of our business is matching consumers to new brands, to new products. This is our fastest growing revenue line. It's growing over, a few 100%. It's becoming a very, significant piece of our business. And it's obviously because customers have decided to entrust a lot of data with us. We understand those consumers really well, and their preferences, their brands that they like, the products that they purchase, and so forth. So that makes us very, very well suited to serve these use cases.
Briefly, Sebastian, before I let you go, you committed late last year to trading profitably this year for the first time in 3 years. Are you going to be able to do that with all this money you're spending on AI right now?
Yeah, and the thing is also AI is making us so much more efficient. I think one thing that I feel maybe tech leaders in the world should be a little bit more honest about. I mean, Goldman Sachs made this estimate of 300 million jobs that could potentially be at risk. I don't think that is unrealistic. I think that this is going to change. It's hopefully going to make for more fun work, less, boring work, and so forth. But I do think it will have a significant impact on the composition of jobs. And as a consequence, I think, politicians and leaders across the world should also think about, it's easy to say there will always be new jobs created, but I was in Brussels the other day. There's 7,000 translators working in Brussels. DeepL is so good at translation. You don't really need those 7,000 translators anymore. And if I'm a 55-year-old translator in Brussels, I'm not going to become a YouTube influencer. So I think, we have to also think from a bigger picture here. How are we going to support people who are going to be affected by these? I think that's very critical. But for Klarna in particular, for us, yes, we are reaching profitability. We have aspired, and we think we're going to be able to accomplish that by summer. We're very close to that. We have, a year ago, we booked a negative EBT of about $150 million on a single month. We're now down to about 30. And we are seeing very, very positive development on all our gross profit metrics across established markets, new markets like the US, UK. And in the same time, we've also obviously had to take the tough decision of making reductions in the number of employees and so forth about a year ago. So we're trending really well, and we're expecting to see profit somewhere around summer.
All right. Always good to talk to you, Sebastian. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Bit of breaking news to bring you. The union ASLEF has just announced that train drivers are to stage 3 fresh strikes in its long-running dispute over pay, including on the day of the FA Cup final on the 3rd of June. More on that throughout the morning here on Sky News. But in the meantime, still to come here on Ian King Live, we'll have a look at how global markets are doing this Thursday morning. Stay with us.
Up of the medals and then we can talk about them.
So we start with the main piece. That's a cross-section of the Bounty. We've got Malteser, Twix.
Let's do it slowly. Maltesers, Twix, Bounty.
Bounty.
Chocolate.
Galaxy.
Yeah, Galaxy.
SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world in adjustment. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com. or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019,
forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on.
turn it up.
Show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie, and it's a Starr Radio UK and the morning show.
This is Starr
Broadcasting
Radio.
worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am. Same for now, yesterday, and forevermore. And the
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Thursday edition of the morning show. Today is Thursday, the 27th day of April, the year 2023. You know something? I nearly said 2021. I don't know what. 2021. By the time we were in lockdown, weren't we? All of you mates. But some of us were still working, making sure that you enjoyed everything that was supposed to. You make. So once again, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and say welcome to the program. You will never change. You to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Mr. Frank Davids, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. I salute you, gentlemen. To our presenters on Starr Radio UK, to our lovely listeners from across the globe, Bishop Adeshina, Pastor Momo, Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, Anthony Adedeji, Olakunle, Sir Moses, Moyuwa, Aziz, and all you wonderful people who have tuned in this morning to listen to us, we salute you. Alright then, let me put it this way, our protocol observed, and therefore wherever you are, massive good morning, and let us take this journey where we're going to be bringing you everything that you need to know. So if it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us on this platform, on this program, this is how the program goes. Now for you, I'm going to be bringing you with a quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on from 10 to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then at 11 o'clock, we'll bring you Mr. Olayomi, who will be looking at in-depth analysis of what is happening in Nigeria with the updates from Nigeria. Of course, it's going to bring you highlights of what it was discussed on the Niger Voices yesterday as well. So if you missed it, well, it's going to be bringing you a summary of it. And after that, we'll continue to look at some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Then at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. It continues from then still 1 o'clock when the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So wherever you are, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. We are broadcasting live on all our social media platforms and our own apps. So whether it's iOS or Android, whatever it is, we're here to provide that for you. Starr Radio UK.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, let's crack on. The quote for the day says that, like law, success principles do not change to suit particular nations or skin colors. So you gotta wake up, you gotta think, you gotta do something. And leave the ones that you cannot do anything about into the hands of God. Because you cannot decide to tell, you do your best, but whatever mindset that people have about you, it will be difficult for you to say, I'm going to go into the brains of that person to change it. That is when you do a bit of prayer there, right? Let me say good morning to Kojo D and Felix all the way in Aberdeen. Okay, let's move on straight to the weather front. What has the weather got in stock for us today? For those of you in London and southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. This afternoon, spells of rain will move eastwards across the country, which will fall heavy in places. There is the chance of the odd rumble of thunder. Tonight will become mostly dry and remain largely cloudy, although occasional clear spells may develop during the early hours. A much milder night than yesterday. Temperature is going to be 15 degrees, otherwise it's going to be 11 degrees. Pollen level is going to be medium or moderate, UV level moderate, pollution low. Sunset 2017, sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:41 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's take a quick break, and once we come back, I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned, don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio UK travel update that comes to where every day from 10:40. It's now 10:46, and what is happening on your travel this morning? For those of you traveling on the underground, I can tell you shortly, apart from the Elizabeth line that's partly suspended, no service between Gildia Park and Shenfield while they face equipment damaged by vandalism. Oh, that's unfortunate there. London Underground are accepting tickets via any reasonable routes. Good service on the rest of the line though. The other side, all the others have got good service. DLR, London Overground, London Traveling, good service there. But let's move on straight to the major roads in London. Blackwater Tunnel has got serious delays and South Circular 805 serious delays. But on the Blackwater Tunnel, yes, the issue is between Baffin Way and Tunnel Avenue. The tunnel has reopened after an earlier incident. So traffic is slow there on the approach. So please check before you embark on your journey so you don't get yourself caught up in there. But it's all coming your way for Starr Radio UK, your travel update. Now on the river bus this morning, good service throughout on the London cable car, good service there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated, I promise. But moving on straight to the National Rail. So on the National Rail this morning, cross country, Great Western Railway and South Western Railway have all got special services. The other side, East Midland Railway, Great Northern, Greater Anglia have also got minor, and Thameslink have got minor delays. The other side, all the others have got good service there. So that's where I bring the update to a close. And as I will say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Arta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 10 minutes to the top of the hour. That means 10 minutes to 11. So it's now time for what? Global Trotting. Let's take the journey. Let me tell you what's happening from across the globe. Now, starting from Nigeria, where we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing us updates from there. Obi attacks INEC for defending Tinubu. Atiku claims victory. And then cash scarcity crippled Nigeria's economy, says the UN. The shortage of the naira in recent times crippled the Nigerian economy, the United Nations has disclosed. Well, everybody knows that, right? Our leaders saying that, well, they didn't with what happened. They've not actually, ruined the economy or caused the economy to, to slow down. And can you just imagine how many people who have lost resources because of that? Well, we're going to tell you more about that when we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Bandits. Daikon says Nigeria soldiers need modern weapons to tackle insecurity. What modern weapons do they need? Now, we will not congratulate Tinubu as president-elect yet, Heinze Indigbo is saying. And then scams of former Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi exposed as Bush takeover. Abandoned Fayemi Health Center. Yesterday, we did touch on that briefly, but well, he said it's a scam. So, what scam is it? Did you just get them to just put up a building or a structure and just say, well, it's a health facility, but it's not equipped with anything? So, well, lots more going to be coming away from there. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, in other parts of the world as well, now regional leaders appeal for extension of shaky ceasefire in Sudan on Wednesday. An Eastern African regional bloc submitted a proposal to extend a shaky ceasefire agreed on Tuesday by further 72 hours. We'll be telling you more about there. 8 of Sudan's former leader escapes prison. Al-Bashir is in hospital as well. The Sudanese army said Wednesday that Omar al-Bashir and other members of his regime had been transferred to hospital before the fighting. What? Are they going to say that, well, something happened and they've all escaped and al-Bashir is somewhere else and is gone? Is that what exactly are they trying to do? All right then. In other stories, we're building bridges. BRICS alliance paves way for African. Yeah. The BRICS that we're talking about India, China, South Africa, Russia, and Bahrain. Yes. Is it? No, it's not Bahrain. My apologies. The other one is not. Belarus. Yes. Yes. That is the BRICS. Yeah, the alliance. We'll be telling you more about that. But moving on straight to some other stories making around still on the African continent. Akufo-Addo appeals for concessionary loans from World Bank, IMF to revive economy. Okay, what have they done? They will say, you know what? It's all the COVID. Yeah, you know what? After the COVID, what else is going on? You know what? It is the Russia attack on Ukraine, not discussing every trouble that we have in the country. But when we look at the one-time dissipation of the state funds, then you ask yourself the question, have these people actually come in to serve us, or they came in to actually siphon what we have or lead us into a ditch? Well, maybe I'm being too hard, but well, when the time comes, I will allow you to bring or add your voice to it. But during the course of the program, even when the lines have not been opened, you can still post your comments on our Facebook page, and I promise you one thing for sure, that I will definitely read your comments. So please feel free to do so. Now, moving on straight to some other stories as well. Fitch has downgraded Ghana's sovereign debt to restrictive default. What does that actually mean? Okay. More going to be coming your way. Number one case adjourned to June 8th. Please still awaits AG's advice. Well. Okay, let's move on. In other stories as well, Apak, one of the MPs, has said, Dr. Apak, questions government for prioritizing tree planting over school feeding. Well, is it the bigger picture they are looking at and forgetting about our kids, or what? We'll be looking at them in the next moment. So wherever you are, don't tag the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, partner private sector for a cutting-edge medical equipment for hospitals. That's what Baumia is saying. What equipment have they come out with? We'll be telling you more about all that. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. Invite them to like our pages as well, and you will enjoy the show. What about that? You will make my day. Moving on straight to some other stories. making the rounds in other parts of the world. Before I bring you some musical break, right? Good. In other world stories there, we're running out of weapons on Ukraine front line. Lack of ammunition is hampering Ukrainian fighters as they prepare an expected major offensive. And that is not good when you go to battle. When you don't have the weapons to pursue your goals, then that will be very, very bad. A scramble to leave Sudan before ceasefire ends. Sudan Health Ministry puts death toll at 512. That is reported once. What about the ones that have not been reported as well? Now, US and South Korea agree key nuclear weapons deal. The declaration is an attempt to show support for Seoul and counter North Korea's nuclear threat. But the Chinese are calling it what? Another fanning the flames of war by the West or by America this time round. But we'll tell you more about all that in a moment. So stay tuned. China Defense Minister in India amid border tensions. Well. And in the US, a rapper has been convicted of lobbying for China. Oh my goodness. And Tucker Carlson breaks silence after Fox News exit. Well, we'll tell you more about that as we continue with the program. Now, from the UK front, furious Microsoft board says confidence in UK is severely shaken. Now, stopping it buying Activision Blizzard marks the firm's darkest day in the UK in 40 years. Some of the games, do they think it's working on the brains or the minds or the emotions of the players? Is that what is happening? Well. A move now. British nationals in Sudan told the government warns it cannot be sure there will be more airlift when ceasefire ends on Thursday. That's today. So a few hours more and it will be ended. Now gamblers will lose 1,000 to face checks. Okay. And the CBI boss, I saw sexual harassment and acted. Rain Newton Smith, who was at the group for 9 years, says she didn't feel there was a toxic culture. So depending on where you are standing, like the 10 blind men who went to visit Hindustan, who saw an elephant. He said, well, some stood here, and depending on where they are standing and how they decided to describe the elephant differently. So that seems to be what is happening here. What do you think? Lots more going to be coming your way this morning. Wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't you go away. Let's enjoy this music. It is known as Gratitude from the late Sonny Samuel Puso. It says gratitude. You have to show some gratitude to God. After a look at the 4th month, it's virtually at its tail end. What about that? Stay tuned. Don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Good God. Now look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, I have some gratitude in my spirit. I have some gratitude in my spirit. Ask your neighbor, do you have some of it? Because I'm about to unleash my gratitude. Now, you know what? Once you feel it, don't allow your neighbor to stop you. Once you feel it, go in. Come on. Come on, everybody. Clap your hands like this. Come on. One more. Everybody say, I thank you. I thank you. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I thank you. And I thank you. Oh Lord. In looking at my life. dimension.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Come on now. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you for loving me.
And all the things you had. Come on.
Lord, I thank you.
Oh, Lord.
Lord, I praise you.
Come on.
Thank you for loving me.
Lord. Come on, sing.
Lord, I thank you.
Lord, I thank you.
Lord, I praise you.
Lord, I praise you.
Thank you for loving me. All the things
You have done for me.
Lord, I thank you.
Hallelujah.
Lord, I praise you. All the things you have done for me.
Come on.
I thank you, Lord.
Come on.
I praise you, Lord. Thank you for loving me.
Hey, hey.
All the things you have done for me. Lord, I praise you. Thank you for loving me. All the things you have done for me.
Everybody thank you. Everybody praise him. Thank you.
Thank you for loving me. All the things you have done for me.
Everybody lift your voice. This is my gratitude song. This is my gratitude song, oh God.
All the things you have done for me.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Scream!
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 4 minutes past the top of the hour, which will have Mr. Olayomi joining in any moment from now. But whilst we're waiting for him to do so, let's look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe, or in Nigeria to be specific, and then once he comes on, we'll put him on. Well. Army commander 14 others die in Bono attack. It's another story making the rounds there. And Obitu Index, you are not even-handed at all. Well, you could see that there is a imbalance in there, right? Okay, Binani, shaker of Adamawa Guba contest beats retreat at Tribunal. And you are perpetual loser is one of the stories making the rounds there in Nigeria as well. But lots more going to be coming your way, as I did say earlier on, once we have Mr. Olayomi who is getting his act together to get on. Yes, from our North London studios this morning. So wherever you are, just stay tuned on Tag the Dial Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let me say, massive good morning to you, Yummy.
Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe and those that have connected with us on the sister broadcast as well. And we're back again as usual to what we do best, to make sure that we can give the news and the headlines from different parts of the globe. It is the Thursday, the 27th day of April, as the month of April is winding down, and that literally means that there's a lot to discuss as usual. Good morning to Frank. Good morning to all the sound engineer. And it seems everything seems to be perfect this morning. Yesterday was a little bit of glitch. Technology sometimes could be like that. But I believe that by the time Elon Musk have everything ready for us to travel to Mars, I pray to be part of those that will reach Mars before I will exit this beautiful planet that we are in, which is a world called planet Earth. that.
Yeah, you might not know. Maybe when we are going to heaven or when we are going, we'll pass through Mars before we get there. So.
Well, I mean, you're quite right, and I believe when you look at our culture, I'm talking about the Yoruba culture. We talk about the Ifa. Ifa travels a lot, for those that understand, what we talk about. Ifa is part of us, it's been, part of our culture. But now that we have, Christianity and Islam, that has literally, taken us away. And those that understand Ifa, you could be traveling around the world, from the comfort zone of your, area, because it's something that gives, the future and today as well. But because we have now become a little bit westernized, I was listening to a video yesterday, and the young man was talking about how the whole colonization happened in 19th century, and we started doing some kind of mathematics, and I was looking at Tinubu will be 87 years by the time Tinubu complete is 8 years if everything goes as planned. But there's also we are already in 21st century, but where do we want to be in the 22nd century? Because not everybody understand when we talk about the century. This young man was talking about 19th century, but Professor Banji Akintoye was taking us back to 15th century, that the Ijebu have been putting on clothes, have been, has been a city and town, but today it seems that city and town is no longer in Nigeria, as we saw in so many of the reports. And as we discussed yesterday on Niger Voices, Starr Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you here this morning, bringing you updates from Nigeria. In our North London studios, here I'm Archie in the South studios. But let's go on to some of the story, the issues that were discussed yesterday on the Niger Voices. I mean, everybody's a citizen. Now look at what is happening in Sudan. The UK have sent their military there with aircraft to actually get their citizens out. I mean, in this part of the world, when there are things going on, you have people critiquing, and then nobody's going to come after them. I mean, you can take people to court, you can take government to court, and nobody can say that, hey, because you do that, in the night they will come after you. And no, because the rule of law is applying. But on Niger Voices yesterday, do you think people felt that they are really a citizen and they are being treated as citizens in Nigeria?
Well, it shows that it does not matter our views, and that is where people believe that there is a kind of unity, in a country like Nigeria, even though we know we are fully divided. But it does not matter. I mean, yesterday, we didn't look at it from the point of a Yoruba man, but we looked at it as Nigerians stuck somewhere in a war zone country, and we're talking about more Nigerians from the northern part of Nigeria, even though they might not be listening to us, but we are doing what we need to be, what needs to be done on Niger Voices, discussing their plight. And these would also let them understand that as much as the Yorubas and the Biafra doesn't want to be part of Nigeria, they have to be listened to as well. And that also means that, like Nnamdi Kanu that was kidnapped, we saw some from the northern part of Nigeria that discussed it. So yesterday, the evacuation from Nigeria in Sudan has commenced, but like we said, the risk aspect of it is also there. And yesterday, report has already reached that the coach that was traveling, that was used to try, for those that were moved from Sudan, was also kind of attacked, according to, the report coming as well. On our way back home, I'm just getting the headline up and running. On our way back home, Nigerian students, got attacked. On our way back home, a group of armed thugs charged at us, attacking us with dangerous weapons. Remember that Sudan, as it is right now, is no go area. So yesterday, was more of the plight. Some did ask questions, and I said, it does not matter wherever you want to study. If the northern part of Nigeria believe that Sudan is where they want to get their education, and the west part of Yoruba land wants to come to UK, we must respect that. But the most important thing is, how important are you as a citizen of a country? I saw, the British Sudanese, citizen that returned back this morning, flew from Sudan to Cyprus back, and they were literally saying thank you to the Air Force and the military that came to their aid. The question then is, Why has that not happened with Nigeria sending in military to assist in the evacuation of Nigerians, but rather they are killing more innocent people in the southeast, and this is where it continues to be. How long more can Nigeria hold together?
Well, how long and how much more can Nigerians hold together or continue to tolerate what is going on? Well, that was on the Niger Voices yesterday. So if you want or you missed out on it, go to the broadcast, go to all the social media platforms, the Starr Radio UK broadcasted on, and you have it all there. All right then. So now let's come to today's issue that seems to be going on. Obi attacks INEC for defending Tinubu. Article claims victory. Well, INEC definitely is it the leader or the chairperson, or yes, the boss of INEC has said that, well, they did everything in their best way as possible, and so that's what they got. But is that it?
Well, it's not yet over until it's over. We know that the election has been done a month ago, because when we look at today's date, is 27th day of April. That means that, February 25th, the election went ahead, even though it was not postponed like it was done, previously. But the outcome of that election is still, a question to those that also participated, Atiku and Peter Obi. Yes, you're quite right. The headline trying to say Peter Obi attacked INEC for defending Tinubu, and Atiku claims victory. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, says since 1993, when he began gunning for the presidency seat, he has done so without any controversy, unlike all the progressive Congress candidate Bola Tinubu, who is contended with alleged drugs identity scandal. Atiku said this in response to the preliminary objection filed by Tinubu and APC in reaction to Atiku's petition challenging Tinubu's emergency as a winner of the 25th February presidential election. The Independent National Electoral Commission will not declare Tinubu at about almost 8.7 million votes to win the election, but the commission declared Atiku came second with 6.9, while it announced Labour Party as its second runner with 6.1 million votes. But Atiku and Obi and some other party have rejected the result announced by INEC. But in response to Atiku's petition, Tinubu has described the former vice president of Nigeria as a serial loser, noting that he has been trying without success to become president as far back as 1993. But in his reply to Tinubu filed before the tribunal, Atiku also said he towers above Tinubu and there was no basis for comparison. But the former VP said, unlike him, Tinubu is being dogged by many controversies such as his age, state of origin, identity, education qualification, represented by certificate obtained from university and colleges, fortified in drug-related offenses, failure to disclose whether he has a dual nationality to the first response, among others. So you can see that it is already ongoing with the tribunal that is going to be going on until. But meanwhile, the candidate of the Labour Party in his own response have accused INEC of bias, describing as embarrassing the inexistence of the electoral umpire that Tinubu won the election, and that the petition challenging the declaration should be dismissed. The question is, will all this be resolved before May 29? May 29, as we count today, is just less than almost 30-something days. We know that yesterday Tinubu has been moved to the defense headquarters for his own safety in preparation for the inauguration on the 29th day of May, when Nigeria will be having a new president, or might be after the tribunal, maybe there might be a hold to that inauguration.
I don't think that will happen in Nigeria. But let me read some of the comments that have come through. Aziz, good morning to you. It's a good morning, Koike. Good morning, Archie and Frank and all the Starr Radio UK team. Bishop Adesina, Ademo, good morning, Starr Radio UK. Aziz says, Yoruba Nation, no going back, says Chief Security CSI. And Bishop says that Nigerian politicians are dramatists, not transparent, Their fight, they fight among themselves. Their fight among themselves will never be my concern. So he said, well, you know, they are just doing everything to come into power. They come there, do whatever they want. So whatever they are doing will not be his concern. But Yomi, do you think that this tribunal hearing that is going on, as compared to the previous one, where was it the last election where Buhari won? I think there was another petition by Atiku then. Now, comparing both, how is the temperature like?
Well, you know, the temperature is still the same. As you can understand, you know, Nigeria is a key player in African country, and that means whoever controls, whether the governor or the president or the vice president has a big role and a big impact, especially within the African Union. But the temperature has always been the same, and nothing seems to have changed already as well.
Okay, listeners, if you are listening to us, what is your thought about what is happening when it comes to the election petition or the tribunal case? Let us know what you think about it. Somebody say country broke, country no broke. We don't inside, we don't give a damn about it. But maybe you are concerned about it. Bishop Adesina says whatever they are doing, they can just do it because he cannot be asked because they are always cagey. But it is Starr Radio UK. Now let's come to one incident or event that took place before the elections. That is the Naira scarcity. When the CBN governor decided to change the currency in line with the president, now President Buhari, and then the devastation that happened. Now, do you think that it has actually had an impact on the economy of Nigeria in the first place? And how have people now come out? Because we have the UN saying that, well, cash scarcity crippled Nigeria's economy.
Well, yesterday I did ask where is Emefiele. Emefiele is the central bank governor, but somebody was saying that Emefiele will be removed as soon as Tinubu becomes, the president, in the next few months. But cash scarcity crippled Nigerian economy. There's a lot of reason why Nigerian economy, continue to be crippled. Not just got to do with the cash scarcity, but so much has happened in the 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari's government as well. But what is the United Nations saying? Is the question this morning regarding the cash scarcity. The shortage of the Naira, the times, crippled Nigerian economy, the United Nations has disclosed. It stated these in the informal sector, felt the brunt of the scarcity the most. It also noted that the continued decline of the oil production is set to impact the country finance. We know that Nigeria has a deficit of about 11 trillion naira when it comes to these budget that the government have presented for 2023. How are they going to find the 11 trillion is still a question that Tinubu will have to deal with after May 29. But the United Nations actually disclosed this in a trade and development report update, which says global trend and prospect of April 2023. This report was produced by United Nations Conference on the Trade and Development. Says in Nigeria, a shortage of cash triggered by the replacement of the highest domination of the country's currency hobble the economy, especially the informal sector. We knew that in December, so many Nigerians were finding it difficult, especially the small-scale, traders, to buy, a replacement of their goods. And in terms of collecting the new currency, which was not available. Right now, even the new currency is still not yet available, but we know that in parallel, both the new and the old currency has been allowed to operate till December end of this year.
So how are citizens going about their duties? Is everything calm now? People going to the bank transactions? How is this all working now at the moment?
Well, I mean, we've not seen the amount of queue that we saw during the the December up to January going to February. It seems that the queue has reduced now that the central bank, this is the old note, have injected back the old note back into circulation. But the problem has been again is in terms of the currency change. Are we going to get something different when the new government comes in place? And most importantly, even the value of that money itself continue to decline. I sent money home about a few days ago, and as we speak right now, you will have to receive a pound. We give you almost 932 naira. That's almost close to 1,000 naira. And if you look at what the United Nations says, you need at least about 2,000 naira every day if you're going to survive in Nigeria. Maybe a little bit less than that. But as you speak today, so many Nigerians find it very difficult to have 1,000 naira. So, when I have, the display of these 500 naira, is a lot of money to an average Nigerian, and that literally means that, even the salary is no longer, sustainable. So what UN is actually saying that, according to the organization, the General African Economy, which is projected to expand at 2.5%, I'm not sure whether Nigeria will be included, especially knowing that 41% of Nigeria will not be able to get a job this year, even though somebody like, Dukwe Onitiri is saying that, she's getting a job for the Yorubas in a website that she created, knowing fully well that, even a country has not yet been created. And where is she going to get the job from? Who are the investors, and how is she going to operate all these when Nigeria is still actually a country? And these are some of the questions that people are raising, and we discussed that as well during Niger Voices yesterday.
Wow, listeners, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So that's how the scarcity has crippled Nigeria's economy. But are you impacted by it? Let us know. Let us know what you are doing or what you are thinking about. So coming your way from Starr. Now, Olayomi in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios. Let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds. Yes, bandits. Daikon says Nigerian soldiers need modern weapons to tackle insecurity. I remember when Buhari came in sometime last year or a couple of years ago, before the COVID, I remember they going on a part of importing helicopters and stuff like that. A few things that they were putting together to make sure that, security is restored and confidence in their military is restored as well. But so far, no. And now we're having this group also calling on the nation or the present government to make sure that they supply or provide the security or the soldiers with modern equipment to be able to beat the insurgents.
Well, the group is actually called the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, also known as DINCON, says that the nation's security challenges required a modern military equipment. We've seen, so much of the Nigerian military struggling, with the latest equipment. I think on Monday while you were off, I was actually saying to Frank that, Nigeria spent $3.2 billion, when it comes to, the military last year. I want to take us back to Jack Straw. I'm sure you remember Jack Straw was the, was the foreign secretary.
Yeah.
This video I come across just yesterday, and this was 9 years ago when Jack Straw traveled to Nigeria, and part of what Jack Straw said then, is still actually happening in Nigeria. See if I can bring that up. And the question is, how much more do we need to wait, to continue to be deceived that Nigeria is going to war? This was what Jack Straw said some 9 years ago when he visited Nigeria.
From the All Progressives Congress, the APC, have sought the assistance of the British government to tackle terrorism in Nigeria. The Senate Minority Leader, George Akume, made the call when the APC caucus of the National Assembly hosted Britain's former Foreign Secretary, Jack Straw.
Senator Akume also said the opposition is worried about the lack of transparency and corruption in government. In his response, the former British Foreign Secretary said promoting transparency in governance and putting in place corrupt-free courts to handle corruption-related cases will go a long way in reducing corruption in the country.
There are very serious security challenges in this country. We don't want this to be swept under the carpet. As we speak to you today, a very large segment of this northeastern part of this country, particularly Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa under siege. We understand we're making some progress, but the progress is too slow. This country is not sufficiently transparent, and it's one of the reasons for the inequalities, and it's one of the reasons for corruption. There's corruption everywhere, and a temptation to corruption everywhere in the world. Britain used to be heroically corrupt, terrible, worse than Nigeria is today. We got rid of it when we simply raised the penalty for being corrupt. It's very straightforward. And I've introduced in my last act as Justice Secretary, Lord Chancellor, the 2010 Corruption Act, which tightens the law on domestic corruption, but also means that if a Brit or a British company goes anywhere in the world and gets tied up in corruption, we can at will prosecute and jail those individuals. You have anti-corruption laws, you have clean courts, and you jail people, and you bring out and ensure there's proper transparency, then you'll soon see that people will stop being corrupt.
That was 9 years ago, and you would expect that by now in 2023, this would have changed. But Major General Hassan Tifada, the Director General of the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, says the nation's security challenges will require a modern military equipment. We know that they've been trying to get the latest equipment, especially from Turkey and likewise from United States of America. But the question has also remained is, when there's corruption, then we will not be able to get some of these latest equipment to fight the terrorism. And I'm going to be giving this quick headline as well that is just coming. Sadly, the Supreme Court has adjourned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeal hearing to next month. This is actually coming from Olayomi, the legal representing Nnamdi Kanu. And I'll come back again to you, and we're going to be discussing 4 Nigerian soldiers that got hit in the Niger-Borno border through a terrorist attack that occurred in the last couple of days.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, we're going to be coming to that, but that particular statement that Jack Straw made 9 years ago was a dent in the image of Nigeria, and we thought that the leadership would have done something about it. But we see, so some people sitting back will think that, well, it's another ploy to actually get individuals to enrich themselves, so because they go and do deals outside, and somebody can be making millions of dollars or pounds in their pockets. So what do we do about it? But again, before we come to the soldiers that have been killed, now we have some of these bandits who are said to have weapons that are supposed to belong to the soldiers or the military. So how have they come by that? Is it that some of the military pass them on to these individuals, or when they are captured or by these bandits, then they end up owning that? What happened? What, in your view, what happens there?
Well, we've seen the terrorist operation in Nigeria by the Boko Haram and the ISIS and the others, invading a lot of the military, barracks, and they've cut away with some of the few that the Nigerian soldiers have as well. And we've also seen a lot of ambush, due to, intelligence coming inside the military to the terrorists that, the military will be passing through, and then, there's what we call, ambush as well. So what we've been saying is that, I remember about a year and a half ago when a former, serviceman was saying that every Friday the military barrack is open to everybody to come and pray inside. He's not sure whether the same happened on a Sunday where people are allowed to come and, worship. And the question is, those that wants to gather intelligence, will be part of those coming to pray as well. And we've seen continuously, back to back, most military barracks being attacked, and that also means that these evil monster cut away with sophisticated equipment. And when we have videos of them showing displaying of some of these weapons, and they're quite expensive weapons. I mean, we're not talking about the AK-47 now, we are talking about RPG and some others as well. And when you have these in hands of terrorists, you can see behind in that picture, that is an RPG. This is in Nigeria, and that is exactly what is happening. And that also is where, we talk about, the mine explosive that killed 5 military men in Borno State. Nigerian soldier vehicle was rammed into a mine suspected to have been planted by the Islamic State group jihadis. It exploded and killed the 5 soldiers who boarded the vehicle in Borno State. May their soul rest in peace. These happened on Monday, but like I said, news is always delayed in Nigeria, sometimes so that people like us do not say it out, and then that means international or the news agency will pick on it as well, and probably sometimes just to cover up that, why would such happen? Is that vehicle up to the standard in the first place? Maybe they will have withstand that explosion, but when money has been corrupt, money has been stolen, like Jack Straw was saying there, the former foreign secretary under Tony Blair, and that hasn't changed up to date. More military cabals have eaten so much out of the military budget rather than equipping the Nigerian military to have fought this monster killing and kidnapping. Remember that yesterday we talked about 29 Nigerians are kidnapped from Abuja, the capital territory. So there will be a lot for the incoming president to deal with, especially we thought Buhari, a former military man, would have been able to sort it out, but he's leaving us now with forgiveness, and it seems that Nigerians are saying Buhari doesn't deserve any forgiveness at all.
Well, does he deserve forgiveness? What do you think in your take? Well, Starr Radio UK. But interesting. We'll talk about the porousness of the Nigerian borders, okay? And we are looking at the pickup trucks that this group have been using. And it's not like maybe it came from, I don't know whether it came from, maybe they imported it to Lagos, maybe, and then they decided to but so where, can you tell me that pickup trucks will just be driving into the country and nobody knows where they are coming from, nobody can account for them?
I remember Showore traveling, I believe maybe not these, his campaign, the previous one in 2019, and he traveled as far as almost close to most of our borders, and some of those borders, doesn't have any military checkpoint apart from the one in the southwest, in between the link to Benin Republic and this, Nigeria, because there's a lot of patronage of the southwest bringing in goods from there. But on the other side, everything seems open, so it will be very easy to drive a truck from there. And we've also seen a lot of importation of vehicles without custom charges on it, as compared to myself. If I have to send a car to Nigeria, it goes through Apapa port and I'll have to pay all the due fees on it. But if you're bringing it from Castina, from any of those borderline, you might just drive it in, and we're talking about sometimes very, very high-end vehicles that end up in Nigeria, get documented, and then people drive them up and down across the country.
Wow. I think if Tinubu is going to be taking over from Buhari, then I think he's got lots of work to do. But who knows? Maybe Buhari says, forgive me, I need forgiveness. Forgiveness for what? You promise you failed to do it. Why do we forgive you? But let's go back to yesterday's story that we were looking. Dr. Kayode, yes. Interestingly, they say that it's a scam. Did he just build some facility, put it there, and then decided, you know what, I'm not going to put any equipment in there. I built a hospital for you. Is that what he did? Yomi?
Well, when this picture was sent to me, as many people were even saying that, the image was jotted as usual, is a fake news. But because we understand Nigerians, they are living in a cocoon, an illusion, and when we talk from here, they don't believe most of what we say. But it seems that another newspaper have picked the story and have said scam of the former. And when we use the word scam, people are becoming a little bit agitated, just as we are saying that Dupe Onitiri, she's a scam because she took away 5 million petition and she has not been able to deliver what she promised. And that literally means that people are now saying that we want that names back because you gave us to sign a petition. We signed that petition, but we don't want it. But the word scam will be used when somebody has used a deceit to prove something. And that is why people that are coming out to attack us saying that, but you brought her in. We say, well, Fayemi was also brought in as a governor, but he ended up becoming a scam because when you look at this healthcare center, this is not up to standard in the 21st century. And this news headline say, scam of the former Ekiti State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, exposed as Bush takeover abandoned his own name, Dr. Fayemi Health Center. History will remember as many of our politicians across the country, just as history will remember the scam Dupe Onitiri has brought into the movement just to make it look like she's doing the needful for us, but eventually we now realize that that is not exactly what they want. When they were building this, I'm sure there was a hope for the people, just as when she came on board, there was a hope for the people, but the people are now saying that there's no more hope and she's a scammer, and that has become a kind of something that some people do not feel comfortable with.
But Yomi, that building, has it got any equipment in there?
Well, it's another way to scam. You allocate money to build such a building, probably in millions. I mean this building probably won't cost a lot, but equipment is important. I'm sure somebody must have taken, I'm not sure whether the equipment got into the building in the first place, because everything you're looking there is just a scam, from the bottom to the top, from those that are signing, from the millions that have been spent on it. And when somebody is scamming you, you will still sometimes love them, because some people still say to us, this is a fake news. That means they are being scammed and they are comfortable with that, just as Duke Bonitiri is still scamming, and some people are still very comfortable because she's still speaking with her sweet voice.
Well, listen to Starr Radio UK. Now, before we go to other stories making the rounds, Dupe Onitiri, a bit for those of our listeners who have missed out on what she's done so far. I remember she coming on the radio, Starr Radio UK, and in an interview, I remember a number of people who were trooping in, and at the time I was saying that, look, in unity is strength. I mean, at the moment the front is solid, then we are able to go very, very far. But it looks like now it is all disintegrated into something else. So what is Dupe Onitiri doing at the moment, and what is going on when it comes to the quest for a nation for the Yoruba?
Well, Dupe Onitiri came into the movement just around March last year, with a hope, just as, the Hope 93, which is one of our, not one, but our our husband, the late Chief M.K. Abiola. Late Chief M.K. Abiola was well loved within Nigeria, but when we go back into the history, we do know that late M.K. Abiola was involved in almost all the coups that happened in Nigeria, because it was also part of the element of the military cabal. Not only that, M.K. Abiola was also someone that also destabilized the late Obafemi Awolowo, those that fought towards the independence with the Zik. But let's fast forward after almost 20-something years. Dupe Onitiri first surfaced back in 2015 when she said she wanted to contest for the governor of Lagos State, using quote and unquote, God told her that she would be the next governor of Lagos State, and that definitely never happened. For that time, she was away again. Nobody knew about her. But during the course of the Yoruba Nation movement that Professor Adebanjo Akintoye is leading, she came on board with one of our media that presented her to Professor Banjo Akintoye. But it seems that the first thing she did was attack the integrity of Professor Banjo Akintoye, that professor wanted to take us into 2023, where to endorse Bola Tinubu. I remember reading part of the book that Professor produced a few years ago during this movement, about 541. That sketch of the book says the history of the Yoruba, and he started a sketch about 1978. He doesn't believe in Nigeria anymore. He was a one-time senator in the Second Republic. He was a product of Obafemi Awolowo, the same Obafemi Awolowo that the husband of Onitiri wanted to destroy. But we now realize that what she was doing into the movement is not what we thought when she came into the movement. She presented it in a way that would make everybody come on board, and eventually she started destroying the integrity of each and every one that are questioning. And in a civilized society, even if you say you have got a country, you must be able to give a proof and evidence of such a magnitude information, because talking about a country is not talking about trying to get a plot of land somewhere in Kenya or Ghana. We're talking about a country where there will be discussion with other countries around the world. But she has declared Yoruba Nation, according to her, on the YouTube channel of one of our media on November last year. And at the beginning of this year, Professor Banji Akintoye actually came out to say we should just leave everything she's doing, but we must not have anything to do with her, because intelligence report comes back to say she's also a plot put together by some of the Yoruba politicians to destabilize the movement.
Wow. But so the other time I saw on, I think online or somewhere, some currency, they said that this is the Yoruba currency, and I was like, well, is it one of her plots there as well? What is all that about?
Well, the currency, as we do know, we do have a presentation of flags, and all these are still part of what we are doing, because currency doesn't mean that it is already in the circulation. It's just a specimen that will be used, to tell people that this is what is meant to be looking like by the time a country comes up. You don't have the full currency in operation when you don't have the country. But what she has done is she has been able to manipulate, few people, and they've been able to buy into it. But she's been running away from questioning that would have given us a clear understanding, just as we brought her into the program around June, July on the Star Radio UK.
Wow, listeners, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I've got my princess here with me in the studio, Frances. She's in the studio. We had a lovely hug. I've not seen her for ages. Yes,
it seems she's not the only one going to school. Mine is also at home today, so I believe it's one of those strikes that we have.
Oh yeah, she told me that the strike.
It's a one-day strike, not like Nigeria.
I told her that I'm going to go to her school, so that when there's strike, I can also stay at home. Well. Some of us, when we go to the school, I think they see they said today the teachers are going on strike. The whole school will be on strike. But well, listen to Star Radio UK. Adewale Amoho. I say thank you, Mr. Archie, about the currency. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. We are here to touch on anything. If you have any questions, you put it on board, and then we'll touch on it as well. Star Radio UK. Now let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds and what is happening on social media platform. Yomi, over to you.
It's gonna go move swiftly because of the time constraint. Like I said, the news coming from Abuja from the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu seems, not to have gone as planned, as the Supreme Court has again adjourned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeal hearing to next month. As the Supreme Court convenes to hear Onyedo appeal today, let equity, justice, and good conscience guide the hand of the court. But it seems that the court is still not ready. Maybe they're just waiting to push everything onto Tinubu. And I did ask the question, how is Tinubu going to manage the situation of Nnamdi Kanu and Igboho by the time he comes in? And these are questions that is still on the table as we speak right now. And it seems already that the Supreme Court goes straight to the social media at 11:44 because of the time constraint. IPOB is trending at 21,000 this morning. We do know that the update seems not to have gone well for the IPOB. Nnamdi Kanu is trending, so you could tell that the Biafra situation is not something that could be that can be joked with, because it's very, very serious. Especially, even if we want stability in the country, there is no way that the government would avoid such. Especially that Simon Ekpa is already saying that Nnamdi Kanu, no location, 2 weeks will be a total lockdown in the Biafra land, and that will mean a lot of destabilization again in the southeast as well. So most of that as well, it seems that Showore as usual is on the ground as well to support the moral support he gives to Nigerians, the Biafra, the Yoruba. Showore seems to be every kind of a man that everybody wants to have. He does not believe that Biafra should not have a conversation. Neither does he believe that Nigeria does not have a right. Showore stand firm when it comes to any kind of issue. And I'm just going to see if I can get his image out, because it's important. We've had him here on the program with us during his candidate campaign in 2019, before the government hold him down to Nigeria for more than 2 years. So that is about it. But it seems, like I said, the major trending is the Supreme Court, the IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, and I'm asking again for peace to reign in Nigeria. how is the incoming government, because it seems that Buhari is already not doing anything, but how is the incoming government going to deal with the issue on the table is a question that we continue to ask. And like I always say, Starr Radio UK will continue to give all those news and headlines from different parts of the world, but I'm going to come back again to you in the studio where we're going to start winding down. And that is the image coming from the Abuja Supreme Court. Let's see if we can adjust that, where Showore, we say, I remember, there's a song that says, Showore, Showore. So it seems that Showore has been around. He has been detained, he has been tear gassed, he has been almost killed while he was an activist during his days at Unilag. And Showore seems to be standing till date. Even Showore always say that when he was still an activist, Tinubu would normally have to probably sit down while they are talking. But Tinubu now will probably have to be sitting up while Showore is still there demanding a better Nigeria or hashtag revolution now.
Well, what is it going to be? Well. But so just a quick one. I want Nnamdi Kano and so a quick one on those two. Now, Nnamdi, the Supreme Court hearing that was supposed to take place, was it to release him or what?
Yeah, it's an appeal for the for the court to grant his release. But it seems that the court is just playing to avoid. And in the picture there is the legal representative of Nnamdi Kano as well there.
So far he's not been able to leave the country, though he's been granted whatever. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure Showore really wants to go back. I mean, I believe his children and the wife will probably have to come to Nigeria frequently to visit him. It seems that Showore is very, very much happy to be in Nigeria. And one thing is that all his life, spent in the U.S., he did not even take the citizenship of America. So, he believes, in what he believes. But as many Nigerians do not believe in what he believes, they believe that the politicians are doing the right thing. And Showore should just go and start as sometimes they tell him to go and start as a local government chairman or probably as a House of Rep.
Well, who knows? Pastor, Adebanjo Sunday says, my brother, good morning. Now, Sunday, Adeyemo Igboho Osha is our hero in Yoruba land for life. Yoruba nation, no going back. And Pastor Mo says, which forgiveness for Buhari? The only parting gift the indigenous people have for him is in Psalm 35 and Psalm 109. Okay, so Buhari, go and read the Bible. Yes, Yomi, before you go.
Well, I'll leave you again, in the hands. I believe, the program runs to almost, mid-noon or afternoon. So there's a lot of more time for all the news coming, and we continue to pray for peace in Sudan, where the situation is getting out of hand. But for me now, I say have a very good morning on the Starr Radio UK Morning Show. I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. You can still bring your comments on. Feel free to do so. We're here to touch on everything that you put across. Yes. And the lines will be open in the next 11 minutes. But for now, let's enjoy this music and then we'll be back with you. This is from the Roots Striders. And they say, who the can fit? Cover version of Bob Marley's song. Now, who does the can fit this time around? Is it Tinubu or is it Buhari or is it who? Or the INEC boss. Did they call him INEC? Yes, the INEC boss. Maybe it's him. Let's enjoy this music and I'll see you in a bit. Ola Akiyemi. Yes, it says Yoruba Nation no going back. Thank you very much for your comments there as well. Enjoy the music.
Listen to the backing vocals, how sweet.
This is Starr Radio. Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Listen up. Help me out here.
Someone hates you, pretend they love you now. Then behind it, trying to eliminate you. But who jobless? No one cares. They water. Well, past the worst. Hypocrites and parasites. Welcome up and take a bite. And if your nights return today now, a lot of people would run away. They do their top fit. Let them wear it. They do their top fit. Let them wear it.
Say that draw me calm.
We don't call it out.
I'm saying glug glug glug.
Well, glop, glop, glop.
We're saying glug glug glug.
Well, glop, glop, glop.
All around the world.
Let them wear it.
Who the cap
Fit. Let them wear it.
say that draw me calm. They not calm about. Saying glug glug glug. Clap clap clap. Listen up. Help me out here.
Someone hates you, pretend they love you now. Then behind it, trying to eliminate you. But who jobless? No one cares. They water. Well, past the worst. Hypocrites and parasites. Welcome up and take a bite. And if your nights return today now, a lot of people would run away. They do their top fit. Let them wear it. They do their top fit. Let them wear it.
All around the world.
Draw me calm.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Star Radio. Radio for the people, by the
Well,
people.
glop, glop, glop.
We're saying glug glug glug.
Well, glop, glop, glop.
Glug glug glug.
Glop, glop, glop.
We're saying glug glug glug. Glug glug glug. Saying click 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 click.
Click, 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 click.
Saying bum skibum skibum bum.
Stee-ba-dee-dee-da-dee-da.
Do da do da do da do da da.
Stee-bee-doo-boo-doo-dee-da.
We're saying glug glug glug.
Well, glop, glop, glop.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I did say, yes, I've got my princess here, so I need to be giving her some attention there. But wherever you are, if you're a parent at home, with the teachers on strike, and therefore it's just a one-day strike, and therefore you're going to be with the kids, why not just have some time with them, right? Yes. All right, Pastor Mo says thank you for giving us the update. We are here to serve, and therefore we are happy that you've enjoyed that as well. He goes on further to say, imagine, look at what Jack Straw said about these thieves 9 years ago, and yet there is no change. And emoji tear, emoji too sad. May God set us free from their hands. And Adebanjo Sunday also says, we are not one in Zoo country in Nigeria. Okay, we don't have the same culture, food, dress, language in Nigeria. Okay, Nigeria is British blessing. Business. Okay, Nigeria is British business center. Okay, thank you very much, Adebanjo, for that as well. But listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Let's try to touch on some of the other stories, and let me announce the lines open. If you want to hop in to share your take with us, feel free to do so. It's 02081332257 or 58 02081332257 or 58. But I've got with me my co-presenter, Mr. Frank Davis, in the house. Frank,
the late comer.
He's here. How are you?
Archie, I'm doing very well. Today we are on strike, so. Olayomi is also on strike.
Yeah, he's also on strike.
You know, when some go on strike, some of us take the
brunt of the strike.
That is it. You know.
But you look at the system here again, comparing it to what is happening in Ghana. Yeah. In Ghana, where we're talking about kids going to school and the food, the free food thing that they are doing, and then we don't seem to be doing about here. The Prime Minister yesterday was questioned about children, school, when they are even on holidays, how government, because of the difficult times that we find ourselves in, and government says that they're going to make sure that even children who are after school, when schools are on holidays, they are kept for. But we don't see that.
Yeah, actually, you see, of course, we're not going to expect that they deliver the same thing in Africa as we have it here. But some resemblance of what is good should be given. Yeah. If you take a place like Ghana, for instance, we claim we're doing school feeding, but when you look at the food, the other time we show, something that was given, the children are being given. That is not food. You can't call it food
at all.
But that is why they as we speak now, they are even on strike, and they are saying the government is not willing and are not going to pay them 3 Ghana and 50. 3 Ghana 50 pesos. Actually, 3 Ghana 50 pesos cannot buy a tin of milk. it can't buy you 2 coffee broke man. So one plantain, one plantain. When they roast it, it can't get you that because a piece of it is 2 Ghana. A piece of it is 2 Ghana, and one of that plantain can give you 4 of the piece. So that's it. So that is what they are demanding at 350. But because it's volume, if you do it volume, but what they have been fed now is nothing. Actually, I've come to a conclusion, and it's a firm conclusion, that the kind of democracy we practice in Africa is not good. We celebrate the US democracy and we celebrate the UK democracy. I do believe that Africa countries must all go to the UK democracy system, where we go for a prime ministerial system. We can have a president, but we should have a prime ministerial system. There was a time President Kufuor was proposing something, but you see, what he proposed was a money wasting venture. He wanted an upper chamber similar to the way we have House of Lords over here. What it does is that you then have every president living appoint people like the way they do honors and peerage. They award them peerage without even subject to Democrat. I mean, if you look at Ghana now, although some of these are rubber stamp, I mean, most of the Council of State members are elected. They are elected. But there are some resemblance of the democracy, but we know what goes on when they get there. At the end of the day, the rubber stamping. Rubber stamp. I think we need a parliamentary democracy system similar to what we have in Italy, where you have the president and then you have the prime minister. And then the prime minister runs the country. Must appear in parliament every week to be questioned, and then he speaks to the public. The kind of executive presidency that we have, what it does is that our presidents think they are chiefs, kings, landlords, and other things, and therefore they misbehave towards the people, and that's what they do. They look at themselves as chief Otunfo, and therefore Akufo-Addo. Everybody have to Oba, me. The Oba of Sokoto, or Imam, what they call it, Emir of Sokoto, or Kano, or whatever you call it. Then I'm also at that level, and therefore they want to be treated as such, as the royals. So basically, take the presidency as a royal, as an entitlement, as something that was fought for by their great grandfathers. The land was possessed by them, and therefore it's time for them to basically rule over us. That's what they do. And each time they get into power, what they want to do is to move the Japan way. You know, Japan, as we speak now, Japan has a democracy that is so beautiful. They have a family that decides who leads the country. Tied to the royal family. They decide who leads the country, and that's what Akufo-Addo, for instance, wants to do. To have a family that will decide who must be in charge of affairs of the country. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. So let's abandon our Canada if we want progress. For me, if we want progress, let's move to democracy. But the kind of democracy might be parliamentary democracy, where the prime minister, we don't need a president. We don't need to elect a president. We can have what do you call? We can elect a president. We can elect a president, but it's just like or we nominate. People apply because the president then become the non-executive board chairman. Non-executive. Parliamentarians can nominate somebody to become the president. I mean, the country, everybody file an application. Then the public scrutiny, the parliamentarian vote, the public also decide what to do. So probably that's what we have to do, so that we let the parliamentarians, whoever gets the majority in parliament, forms a government. And then we do have this parliamentary system. I think that would be the best thing. We do that in Nigeria to be a different thing. Buhari will not be picking in between his teeth what's the problem to be solved. Are you getting me? What the person who just elected now in Nigeria, Tinubu, will not be going to see medical this and tell us that he without proper accountability. You have to tell us where you support you are at each point in time. You know, it doesn't become sick in bed, and his handlers will be telling all kind of stories. Sooner they have handlers. All of them have handlers. But what they do, they appear before the people. So Archie, that's what I think.
Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK, Mr. Frank Davis for you. Okay. Mr. Frank Davis for you. Now, we did talk about some events that is going on in Ghana. Where when I talked about this school feeding program thing, and the fact that here we see the children at home, but yet everything is going on the way they're supposed to go. But I'm looking at it that we have Dr. Park, who has made a statement. Now, accountability has been a problem. And when you have these same people who think that if we set up a system that is going to check us, then we'll not be able to go about our real intentions are. And therefore, they will do everything in their power not to allow that to take place. So you have Dr. Park saying that now that children are hungry, no food, now it is time for us to do tree planting. So the money, the scarce resources that we have, we are not putting it into another channel. So I ask myself the question, when can we say we have a national agenda? Whenever you come, wherever you are, you follow that bit. What is it?
It's a national agenda doesn't work, and it will not work because the real intention of politics is to make money. Actually, if I am the road minister and all the roads are constructed, where do I make money?
That's a good question.
How do I make money? Assuming I came, the roads are beautiful, nothing to be done. How do I make my money? If the hospitals are functioning properly, how do I make money? If the bridges don't have to be built, where do I make money? So in an attempt to solve problems, we milk the system. That is what they do. And that is why Baumia will tell you that we've created jobs. He will tell you, oh, planting for food alone has created this number of jobs. Yesterday he posted something on Facebook. The number of jobs planting for food and others are created. But actually, planting for food and jobs, if we really are producing something, we will be importing tomatoes from Burkina
No way.
Faso. There's no way we should be importing tomatoes. So again, you want to ask, planting for food and jobs, what is the success rate? But on paper, planting for food and job is supposed to generate these jobs. This is how much we are supposed to allocate. As to whether those jobs were generated or not, for the for the leaders, Baumi and others, they don't know. All they know on paper is that we have pumped this money into this. But he knows himself that, look, this money that we've given, a percentage is going to party funding, and a percentage is even coming to fund my campaign. Because all the chief executives are supposed to contribute towards my campaign. How do they get the money? They can only get the money if they inflate the budgets. Because the kickbacks, that's where it stands. Over here, we don't take jobs because we want kickbacks. You dare not can't take. Even the prime minister who has put a policy down, they've gone to find out whether the wife who had a share in a care agency, how is it going did that influence the policy and the choice of the 6 care companies that are being considered by the government to be given money, of which one of them, the wife is a substantial shareholder? They want to investigate that. Ghana, no. Africa, no. You have Keno Furata, who see there will not subject himself to scrutiny. No questions want to be asked. All he does is, oh, my friends are coming to buy bond, they come and buy bond, we want to raise this money, we pass it. As to how, when, technically, whether it was good or not, no, because he profits from it. That's all they do. Akufo-Addo will come and say he's he's one of the best finance ministers we've already had. Ghana has ever produced. Here we are, that he's now begging for concessionary loans. Archie.
Wow, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I did say, I've got my princess in the house, and therefore she's busy doing all her laptop's things there. So just allow her to be free, and we will also continue to bring you all that you need to know. It is Starr Radio UK. 11 minutes past 12 the time, the morning show with me in the studio, Mr. Frank Davis. I'm Archie. Okay, let's crack on. Let's look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Now, 8 of Sudan's former leader escapes prison. The story says that a former head of the al-Bashir regime in Sudan, wanted for crimes against humanity, has announced that he fled prison with other former collaborators in this country in full chaos. Now, according to the army, former leader Omar al-Bashir did not flee with his lieutenants because he is currently in hospital. Now, South Sudanese strongman Omar al-Bashir is still in hospital under the guard of the judicial police. Now, the army announced on Wednesday after Ahmed Harun, one of the lieutenants wanted by the International Criminal Court, announced that he had escaped with others from Koba prison in the capital Khartoum. Now, I was watching that story very, very closely, and I was asking myself the question that, are we in a place where we're going to be seeing al-Bashir and his cronies all leave the country because the military are trying to, we don't know exactly what the military's intentions are. Though they are the ones who ousted him, yet they don't want to hand over to the civilians, and that's now ended into this civil war that it seemed to be brewing. So what do you think there, Frank?
Archie, I don't blame them from escaping. That's number one. Look, I will escape if I were them. At the end of the day, you put me in prison does not mean that you have actually asked me to come and die over here. That is not what we bargained for. So at the end of the day, them running away is good. Now, what becomes of justice? That's the question we should ask. What becomes of justice? Are they going to be able to serve justice, or are they going to be held accountable? For, I doubt it. He is come to say he's gone. He's fled. Which country? Russia? Which
he's not said anything. We don't know where he is.
But where is he going to? Where is he going to go to? At the end of the, but you see, Archie, I don't think it's even wise for them to be there, because they will be killed anyway. They will be killed. They will be killed. I'm only hoping that the rest of them, or probably they'll be able to get them back and try them in court, and especially if these two people can come together now that there's a truce, and we're hoping that it's expired this evening.
It's expiring. Yeah.
We hope that conscience will take place, and a bit of reasoning and wisdom will prevail for them to lay down their guns and do a bit of dialogue. If they can do that, once he has agreed to tell us that he has fled, then probably he might be willing to come back for trial.
Will he? But the thing is, look at how long it's taken, because al-Bashir wasn't overthrown just last year. I think it's gone about 3 years now, or thereabout, or 4 years. Was it before the COVID? I think so. I think it was about 2000. I'm not sure. I've forgotten the date, but it's gone a bit. So how come that up till now they've not been able to say, yeah, this is what they did. Let's but they just keep them in there, and then as some will say, the wheel of justice grinds slowly, and that's the same thing that we see. And look at what is happening.
Well, it's over 2 years. I mean, they will tell you that the other prisoners that have been there for years without trial, and they will tell you that sometimes locking these people up is best, because the society, some of them are hated to such an extent that the society, people, the majority apart from their family, don't want to see them. So sometimes it's even for their own protection that they are kept over. They are kept over there. As to whether the conditions are good or not, that's another another question. But a political prisoner like that, I mean, I think it's too long. Because assuming it's established that these people have done nothing wrong,
you kept them in there for all this
deprive them which is really not the best.
Okay, let's move on straight to some other stories that is making the rounds this time around. Let's go to Ghana once again. Now, the president of Ghana has appealed to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund for concessionary loans to revive the economy as private sector funding dries up. The facility is a loan made on more favorable terms than the borrower could obtain in the marketplace. You are a person who I've forgotten the term that we normally use, but you negotiate finance for whatever projects and stuff like that. Okay, now, do you think if Ghana has appointed you to go to a financial institution to go and negotiate, do you think you've got what it takes with the position that the country in, the leadership at the time, and everything that seems to be going on, do you think?
There's nothing impossible. It can be negotiated. It's not like the way we do IVA, voluntary, insolvency. You declare insolvency. Even in this country, when you're in debt, sometimes your debt are sold to a private entity who tell you, can we rearrange, renegotiate debt management. Ghana, where we are now, we are the face of debt management. Now, when you go to court, or when debt management people contact you and you are supposed to pay your loan back or whatever, you are given a form to fill. To be able to look at your outgoings and your incomings. Based on that, judges are able to tell probably you can afford this this month and others. Now, there are certain times when I believe when you are supposed to fill that form and you put there as an outgoing, you go and put there alcohol, beer bottle. You spend £10 every day. If I were to be advising, I'll question, can we reduce the beer bottles to 2 a week instead of 7 a week? So that if you are telling me you can afford £20, beer bottle is costing you 10, and therefore if we reduce it to 2, we can save £5. And then if we're going to say 5 days for £10, 50, so 50 plus 20 means that you can afford up to £70 instead of the 20 that you are offering me initially. So that is what that arrangement is all about. You see, at each point in time, we want to see you also taking action. That you recognize that the position where you are is not good. That you are prepared to actually go along with reforms that are needed. Archie, you first have to accept your sins
before you are forgiven.
As we speak now, Akufo-Addo administration has not come to terms publicly that, or has not accepted the proposition that high borrowing, mismanagement, borrowing for consumption is what has brought us this far. The basically collateralization of almost everything that we have. ESLA was even Get Fund have been collateralized, and they took loans out of it.
Oh wow!
Now the question is, as a president, as an administration, what are you doing? What are you doing? Actually, where we sit, the government is not doing anything for us to see that they are serious. What they'll tell you they're doing, which is punitive, is not paying contractors that have borrowed money
from the banks.
Yes, not paying cooks like the way we see. That's why they're on strike. NHIS from last year to this year, the NHIS has not been paid. The providers have not been paid. That's why. That's why the health minister himself will tell you that he doesn't work. So health minister himself is telling that the NHIS doesn't work. Actually,
wow.
World Bank and everything that is going on, and IMF, they want Akufo-Addo and others to do. Look, we're promised March.
Yeah, but March is gone. Now eventually April is ending.
April, no, they're supposed to go for, every month, getting to month ending. IMF, they have what they call board level meetings. They schedule where they discuss the final proposals and everything. This month we've mixed it. So the next opportunity we have is May. I bet we're going to mix it. And that is why they had a meeting. They didn't deem them satisfactory enough, and therefore they send them back to sender, reconstruct, go back to your books. But see, they've gone back, and all they are looking for now, pensioners. Actually, for the first time since 1993, banks are making huge losses in Ghana. Ghana Commercial Bank has made close to a 600 million loss this year.
Is it bad debt?
They've made loss. A company that declared profit now they are lost. almost all the bank is because of the restructuring. Because if they are making their profits from some of these bonds, now you are holding on paying them, and so actually the financial sector is struggling so straight that actually I don't see how some banks are. Look, Zenith, GT, Standard Chartered, all of them make losses in Ghana. All of them for the first time since the first time in the Fourth Republic.
Wow!
The first time in Fourth Republic. They all make losses, huge losses. Do you think they're going to survive for a long time? If I'm your shareholder, what do I do? If I bought shares and you're making losses, what do I do? Yesterday, what they call Microsoft shares went up 10%. Why? Revenue announcement was good. Facebook Meta said, okay, now people are subscribing more. Artificial intelligence is now helping to boost their revenue. Share prices are going up. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of information over there. You in your economy, you keep on saying Ukraine war. Ukraine war. Meanwhile, Ukraine self is still exporting grains. But we are selling our food for where are the grains to export? Where's the food to export to our neighbors? None. So actually, for me, it's the government's own doing. If I were in the position, will I lend them money today? I will not lend them money unless, because look, actually, when you have corn and you're wearing Jokoto, you know Jokoto? You know Jokoto?
Yeah.
Listen, if you don't know Jokoto, it's this trousers with big pockets. With
the crop that you used to tie it.
And let's assume that when you went out, you ate, or probably when you were leaving the house, your wife was frying some fish, and you took one, put it there, sneak it in. Unfortunately, your wife came in, and you didn't want her to say that. You said something, and you said, okay, let's go out. So you changed and left the Jokoto
with the fish in it.
Rats, mice in your room came and actually punch hole into your Jokoto, right? Here you are now. You put corn in. When you put corn in, it go in drain because the pocket is leaking. If they give you another corn, or if you are asking me to give you corn, you think I'll give you knowing that your pocket is leaking?
Well, the financial engineering person says there's no hope for them.
I will not give them.
Okay, listen, we got Felix on the line all the way from Aberdeen. Let's go to him. Felix, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. And you?
I think I'm plodding on as usual.
Okay. Now, what do you want to say, sir?
Actually, let's assume. Well, let's not even make assumptions. But assuming that you were working in PR for one of these investment houses, what's on that? What reason would you find to let your investment manager or decision makers? Reason would you find to let them lend money to a country like Ghana? Can you figure out any reason at all?
When we are giving out, this one is a gift. We're not going to get it back because for sure.
There's no way. I mean, those who have lent money to government are being told we can't pay you and we are not going to pay. And even that, there's no honesty being shown. Why would any bank advance to you a mortgage loan when your previous mortgages you have with other banks, you can't even honor the payment of the interest? Remember, all this talk that is going on about Ghana's inability to pay back their loans, it's not actually the capital. A lot of these discussions is only about the interest.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. The huge chunk, the elephant in the room, the capital, that is not even on the table for discussion at the moment. Even a lot of the investment houses are not even asking for that at the moment. It is just the money to service the interest. And of course, some of the Eurobond that they issued, those are due. So that one you have to pay with the capital. But in terms of the domestic debt, for instance, most people, all these pensioners who are queuing, it's not even the capital that they are asking to be paid. It's just the interest. I gave you 2 million Ghana cedis for a 90-day treasury bill or a 90-day government bond, and I'm due whatever you have to pay me after 3 months, or I'm due whatever you have to pay me after 180 days. Just give me that payment. That is what they are trying to negotiate their way around. And what they are trying to negotiate their way around is, well, we can't pay you what we promised, and so, you know, you won't get your payment now, and even if you have to get your payment at all, it's not going to be now. You have to wait for the next 3, 4, 5 years before we give you something. That is even the one they can't get their heads around it. Because frankly speaking, if the investment houses should come at the calling of government and say, look, we want our capital, your country will vanish into thin air. Because your country, frankly, does not even have $10 billion sitting down anywhere that they can say, we're going to pay you your capital, just, you know, take your money and go away. That money does not even exist. And Frank made a point that even some of the government revenue instruments that such as Get Fund that brought in money for government, they've taken loans. They've issued bonds on some of these revenue streams. So these revenue streams are no longer coming to government anymore. Well, the government will receive the money, but the money is not for government. It has to go to the bondholders, those people who gave you the money in the first place when you issue those bonds. But frankly, don't blame them. Blame Ghanaians. You know, they haven't been through what Argentina has gone through over the last 20, 25 years. Because if they go through that sort of process, they will wake up. You know, they'll wake up because you get to a situation where your president lands in Paris and he can't get off. He can't fly back.
Because they confiscated their flight.
because they confiscated the flight. He gets into a hotel and he will not be allowed to check out of the hotel because bank accounts out of which hotel bills are going to be paid have now been, you know, taken over by the courts or by, you know, some international arbitration judiciary groups, things like that. You know, your accounts have been legally frozen. So you can't pay your hotel bills, and though the hotel hotel security will not allow the president to get out of the hotel until such bills have been paid. They've not gotten to that stage yet, but it will get to that stage very soon. You know, different from the Argentines. You know, different from other countries. You know, it won't be long. Yes, for those of us who still use Ghanaian travel documents, it won't be long. We may not even be able to get to a high commission or embassy to renew our documents, because that's what happens. That will be the next stage, because these are commercial agreements, and if you can't pay your bills, then they will have to take your assets and recover their debt.
Wow.
When you get to that stage, Ghanaians will wake up, because it seems to me that even most of the educated people in Ghana don't even understand how international finance works. So they just go on radio and talk a lot of nonsense. Yes, they go on radio and talk a lot of nonsense. A country of 30 million people, or maybe let's put a round figure of 32 million, and you have 80-something ministers of state with a GDP not coming anywhere close to double digits. In some cases, you're even struggling to get 1% GDP, even if your figures are to be believed. What do you need 80 ministers for? What do you need 125 ministers for? What is it that they are doing? I mean, the Chinese have over 1.4, 1.5 billion people. Do they have 85 ministers of state?
Not sure about that.
You have over 1,000 people working at the office of the president. Do you have 1,000 people working at number 10 Downing Street?
No.
Do you have over 1,000 people working at the Elysee Palace? I don't know, but I doubt that. And if they do have 1,000 people at the Elysee Palace, it's a big economy with big interests all over the world.
Yeah.
Right? With I don't know how many colonies in Africa still have very close relationships with the French. Which nation on earth have you colonized? To say that you have economic and strategic interest for you to have all these 1,000 people at the office of the president. Your president travels in a motorcade of over 50 cars. The German chancellor doesn't travel in that sort of motorcade. I mean, if there is any president or any state leader in the world who should travel in a motorcade of over 50 cars, it should be the German chancellor.
Yeah.
Because Mercedes can give him or her, you know, they won't even pay for that because it will be a big advertisement for their company.
Yeah.
Mercedes is there, Volkswagen is there, Opel is there, the names.
Audi is there, they are all there.
Just name them.
They are all there.
Yeah.
But I don't travel with the German chancellor, but on a few occasions where I see Chancellor Merkel traveling, now it's Chancellor Schulz traveling, I don't see more than 20 cars. In fact, it's very difficult to see even 10 cars. So why is your president traveling in a convoy of 50 cars plus? You think the high commissioners and the ambassadors in Ghana, you think they are stupid? No, they are not stupid. They are wiring information over to their supervisors and bosses in London and in Berlin and in New York and in Paris. That look, these guys are not serious about addressing their challenges.
So Felix, let me just interrupt you a bit. Now, what do you think is the way forward for us? Because virtually it's like we've hit the bottom of the barrel. I mean, there's no way. I mean, we can't. I mean, there is nothing more that we can do. But what do you think is the way forward?
There's no way forward for your country. Your country will have to sometimes in life you have to go dig down. I don't know whether you've had conversations with people who have been affected with substance abuse before, particularly alcohol.
Yeah.
Sometimes even their own relatives give up on them. And the only way for them is to go deep down. Sometimes the only thing that gets them out of that situation is when they wake up in an hospital with all sorts of gadgets and equipment over them. Because maybe they've intoxicated to themselves to a certain level. They maybe collapsed, fainted. Emergency services were called in, and that's when they decide that, look, I've got to give up on the bottle, or otherwise I'll be gone. Or sometimes they walk into hospital, and then the doctors tell them that, look, if you take in another drop of alcohol, that's it, you are gone. Or if you take another shoot of, shall we say, the white substance into your blood, that's it, you'll be gone. Your heart has gotten to a certain level, you can't support your body anymore. Any more addition of some of these toxic substances into your body, you will be gone.
Yeah.
That's where Ghanaians are. Because, look, I don't want to sound dismissive of our people, but if you listen to the sort of discussions that are going on in our country, it seems like these people are not even aware of the situation which they find themselves.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, go on.
That's what I'm thinking, because you have people sitting on radio, sitting on TV shows and defending everything that is going on. And so at times I do ask myself the question, is it that because we are outside and we are looking in so we can say, oh, look at that, and therefore those who are in there don't feel it? But I don't get it.
Yes. I mean, some of it, like I stated, it may have to do with financial illiteracy. Let's be honest. This is not something that we are taught in our part of the world. Most of us, had we not traveled outside,
we wouldn't have had all that.
Outside of the jurisdiction of Ghana, we probably would never have had the opportunity to use what they call a credit card, or what some people call an overdraft facility.
Yeah.
Because in our part of the world, unless you work in the, shall we say, the formal sector, most people don't have a need to have a bank account.
Yeah.
Because whatever comes into you spend it straight away. You don't need to go and save anything in the bank. So maybe it's a generational problem where people have been raised with a sense of not with a sense, but with a certain level of financial illiteracy, even at the local level. And at the international level, they have no clue at all. And that's the reason why they come and float bonds and then they go and have a kinky patch. Because if you see, there are some people who will go home with joy because their mortgage has been approved.
Yeah.
But there are others also who are aware that, look, I'm taking on a burden.
Yeah.
And life is not going to be the same anymore.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why some people have a very stringent attitude towards remortgaging their property. Because nobody wants to take additional burden when they think that, look, I've struggled with this burden over the last 25 years. I'm now left with 2 years to clear it. I don't want to extend this obligation anymore, irrespective of what the circumstances may be. So if it is to do with the fact that, look, there's not going to be another holiday for the next 3 years, let it be so.
Yeah.
And after 3 years, I will have no more mortgage to pay. Whatever expenses there are, let's postpone it. But our people don't understand these things. So you come and float a bond in Europe, and you go and organize the kinky party. Why would you do that? Anybody with any iota of brain should know that you are taking on a burden.
Yeah.
Celebrating
taking on a burden.
Yes. You now have to ask yourself, where is the money going to come from? Because at the end of the month, the bills will start coming in. It's not by accident that some people don't go crazy with all these things about Christmas shopping and Black Friday shopping.
Yeah.
In fact, some people look the other way around.
Yeah.
When these advertisements are coming onto television and things like that. Because they don't want to be tempted with the idea that, all of a sudden my washing machine is no longer okay for me. Get a new one. Or my fridge is no longer okay for me. Get a new one. Or I need a new upholstery refurbishment of my property. Because the day will come when you have to pay that bill. But our people don't understand these things. Because if our people understand these things, they will get to very quickly realize that if this continues, some of the brothers and sisters who are working in Ghana High Commissions and embassies abroad, it won't be long. They won't be able to get their salary.
Yeah.
Because your external bondholders, they're not going to sit down and dance around the table with you.
Yeah. Just
their legal departments, I can bet you, whether it's in London or whether it's in New York or wherever they went for the bonds, their legal departments are looking at all options on the table.
Wow.
As to how they can get their money back. They are looking at assets you own. They are looking at your bank accounts. They are looking at accounts that they can take to the court and make sure that orders are imposed by the court, so that all revenues that go into these accounts, they can have their hands on to get some of their monies back. Whether it's your banks in London that are handling your cocoa transactions, or your gold transactions, or your oil transactions. And let me go back to this again. We are not some unique people. What has happened to Argentina? What has happened to countries such as Sri Lanka? What has happened to countries or what is happening to countries such as Zambia and other countries that have, taken loans from external bodies, institutions, and other countries, and they've not been able to pay? Those things are all on the table for us. It's as simple as that. But maybe our people will have to learn the hard way.
Okay, Felix, just hold on for a bit. Let me come to Frank. Now, Frank, you came from Ghana not long ago. You were there for some time, so at least you would be experiencing and then just supposing what we see here with that. I mean, accountability and everything. Now, do you think that Ghanaians are actually seeing it? Because you talk about the same people, they will go to the polls the next time and they'll vote for the same people again because they've been induced with some pens or something, and they'll be doing so. Do you think Ghanaians are actually waking up to the reality?
Archie, that depends on the Ghanaian you are talking to. If you are talking to robots or you are talking to real human beings, because like the way we talk, I call them tribal politics. In NDC you're going to have robots. In MPP you're going to have, as we speak now, you have robots who are programmed to just say MPP is good. Whatever you do, MPP is good. Them, they go home, they can't get food to eat, but when they come in public, when you want to meet them, MPP is good. And when it comes to voting, those are the kind of people you're going to have who vote for the MPP. And then you have people who, once they hate the other party, they hate them forever. So irrespective of whether it's a good or not, once approved good, fine. But there's a third class, and in fact I would say 4. I happen to be close to a friend of mine. I'm working with her who happens to have voted for MPP. This is a young girl. So well, my dad actually drove me to the polling station because I didn't want to vote because I don't understand it. I'm not interested. None of them is bringing me any good. That's a young girl from university. When I was growing up, I had to fend for myself. I did everything for myself. My dad, although he was around, he was doing it. So even my education, I did a long distance whilst I was working jobs. So what's the need for a politician? You increasingly have that kind of mindset of people who all they care about is where do I get my daily. They don't even want to know anything about politics. All they want to know is how do they pay their bills, and that's it. Whatever politics does, they don't want to know. Whoever is on top, they don't want to know. Then you then have people, the third people who sit there and say, okay, the fourth people who sit there and say, okay, we trusted this person, he betrayed us, now let's change and give it. So those are the kind of thing. But actually, the real issues are not being discussed. You see, the media in Ghana, you know, I keep on saying that we might have to redefine how media is owned. You have a lot of channels that are basically owned by politicians. They set the agenda. If you do not have those that are, if those that are not, those that are not owned by government, or those that are not owned by politicians, are controlled by politicians, one way or the other, the presenters are almost 100% bought.
But yeah.
So, unlike this country where a journalist is speaking, you know they've researched, they know the subject matter. In Ghana, it's about sensation. It's more about sensation. What do we say? What are we going to say?
So people will be following.
So people will be it's about the numbers. It's about the sensation. All those kind of stuff. Those kind of foolishness. Excuse my language, but that is what goes on in the country. All this debt, what do you call it? This debt issue that we're talking about. None of them, apart from a few, this guy does a lot of good. The guy sits on CTFM. What do you call it? I forgot his name. Kafui.
Oh, okay.
He does a lot of good when it comes to this. But actually, you do not have a lot of media, even those who call themselves experts, telling you the impact of what exactly we are facing. Because this will even impact cocoa seller.
Yeah, everything.
Recently, we couldn't get medicines. There were no medicine. Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire have to loan us medicines, vaccines. They have to give us vaccines for infants. So actually, in my view, we still have a long way to go in Ghana.
Wow. Listen, let's start already, okay? We have in the studio with me Mr. Frank Davis, and in Aberdeen we've got Felix there as well. I'm Archie, and we it's now 60 minutes to the top of the hour. Now, Felix, let me come to you. Hello, Felix.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Now, so you see, Frank has talked about the mindset of the various groupings of people in the country. Now, do you think there's a way where we can shift that mindset, or maybe, as you are saying, unless we hit the bottom of the barrel itself, scratching and screaming before we can have a turnaround? What do you think can be done?
Look, there's not really much you can do about it. I mean, this whole thing about democracy, I'm not sure, but I think it was Plato a few years ago. I read that sort of thing. I can't really remember. Maybe I don't know, between 7 to 10 years. And they question the whole concept about democracy, because you're asking people to make a decision, and if the people are not informed, and they may not be informed for all sorts of reasons. Maybe they are not educated, maybe life experiences and things like that. How can they make that sort of decision? I mean, in most parts of Africa, people don't vote on policy. They just vote because, look, it's one of our own. Whether it's on the basis of tribe, whether it's on the basis of a looting brigade, whether it's on the basis of people I went to school with, that's what it is. People don't vote on policy. You know, there's nothing like, there may be some people who may vote on the basis of policy. You know, I agree with the policy, A, B, C, D, and E. I've scrutinized the policy, and it works. People just vote because it's just one of our own. And in the case of Africa, unfortunately, there's an element of tribalism. There's nothing you can do about that. Well, you may try and do something about it, but that's not going to work easily. You know, particularly the sort of language you hear with our people in Ghana, and even those who have traveled abroad. Because unfortunately, not every Ghanaian who travels abroad lends him or herself to the experience of exposure and learning from others. In fact, some of our people, when they go abroad, and I don't want to mention any particular, tribe or anything this way, but some of our people, when they go abroad, the incentive even to learn the language of the host, they don't want to take up on that. They just refuse. And so you guys who live around London and the Southeast, you may come across something.
A lot,
I guess,
a lot.
as a preacher man, you might have come across people in some cases who have lived in this country getting close to 4 decades.
Yeah.
Yet they can't construct a simple sentence in English. And that's for giving them pen and paper to write something. Don't go there. That's another trouble. So such people, it's very difficult for them to learn something from abroad. And even when they think they have learned something at all, it's completely different from how the whole system operates. And so therefore you find most of our people, when they are being given advice, you very quickly realize that for an individual such as yourself in the know, you know that what the person is telling you is either half truth or completely lie.
Yeah.
Right? And it is the same thing when it comes to this whole thing about democracy. You're asking people to make an intelligent decision. Because that's what it is. You're managing the lifestyles of 30 million, 31, 32 million people. It's not an easy thing. As Rishi Sunak is beginning to find out now. You know, out of nothing, in the last 10 days, he's now being asked, go and evacuate British nationals from Sudan. I don't think he thought about it when he was coming into power. But you are being asked to do that. At the same time, there are people who are telling you that, look, my mortgage rates are going up too high because you can't manage the interest rate. Do something about it. Some other people are also telling you that, look, there's too much pressure on the healthcare system. Do something about it. Another person is telling you that there are people in the gig economy whose rights are not being protected. Do something about it. Some people are telling you that, look, the banking system, has problems. You got to deal with the problems. They are not lending enough money to business startups. Do something about it. Is it possible for an individual with limited education and limited exposure in a country like Ghana to be able to analyze all of these things? Because these things also affect our people. Healthcare, banking, law and all that. Our nationals abroad who are having problems, we may have to evacuate some of them back home. Things like, is it possible that somebody in our country, when they are coming to make a decision as to who to run our affairs, thinks about all of these things before they make a decision? And the answer is no. Let's be blunt about it. People just vote because Nipa or Fremichrome or it comes from my town. And so you're asking people to make decisions that they are clueless about. They will make decisions on an issue that they are largely, by and large, clueless about. They will make the wrong decision. And that is what is happening. That it can't change. Because, look, how many people in Ghana even understand what the bond market is? How many people in Ghana understand that, look, if you take money from the international bond market and you don't invest the money into productive activity, that will bring you money in return. You have a problem on your hands.
Doomed from the way it go.
How many people understand that? Because if our people understood that, people who go and borrow money from abroad and come and organize KK party, you shouldn't vote for them. Because you have to know that one day somebody will come calling at your door. But our people don't understand these things. So I don't know how you can change this. All I know is that, look, you got to, hope and pray if you believe in that. Because that is what we've taken on our shoulders. And in fact, this is the reason why countries that don't buy into this idea about democracy tend to make faster progress than countries that tend to go along the ways of so-called democracy thing. I mean, if you look at these Gulf countries that within a matter of 35 to 40 years have transformed themselves to where they are now, you think if they were allowing every, excuse my language, Tom, Dick and Harry in the desert riding camel to decide who should be the king in Qatar or the Emirates, they will be where they are today. No. I mean, recently that they went for the World Cup in January. The information that we got from Qatar is that the Qataris themselves don't really work. They just sit in their big houses and drive their flashy cars. And it's the immigrants who come and work. And then they benefit from the work of the immigrants because they are just being paid to enjoy life by their state, literally. Sometimes they come to London and come and drive their flashy cars, and you guys see them. They stay in expensive hotels and pay well over £1,000 a night and in their countryside mansions in Surrey. You think if they were sitting down and allowing everybody to bring their opinion before a decision is made, the Emir of Qatar would get the country to where it is today? No. Possibly no. I'm not saying that people should leave the hands in the hands of the leadership of the country, the hands of a few, unsavory characters. That's not the point I'm making. But when you're asking people to decide on something that they don't understand, you are putting a burden on people who are not prepared to take that burden. It's like having a jury who don't understand how the legal system works. They have no clue, yet you're asking them to decide who is guilty or innocent.
They will find everybody guilty.
Yes, or they may find everybody innocent. Because you don't have to be knowledgeable about the law, but you have to be knowledgeable about what the norms of society is.
Yeah.
That you are not allowed to take another person's life without authority from the state, or legally at least. You can't go around stealing people's property without, you can't steal people's property. That you have to tell the truth. If you get people on a jury panel and they don't know these basic things, how do they end up deciding who is guilty or not guilty, who is right and who is wrong? And that is the burden we are putting on our people. They don't understand international finance. They don't understand how international finance works and the consequences of not being able to honor your debt obligation. They don't understand what political scientists call the political economy, the power brokers behind finance and economics in the international order. They don't understand these things. As you're expecting these people to make judgment calls on these matters. No, they can't do it. And that's the reason why some of your politicians tell you, educated politicians such as the late J.H. Manson are telling you that Quine Obedi. And people believe that you were talking something sensible. That's the reason why a certain political party, when they are in a position, they poo-poo infrastructure development. And when they get into government, they struggle even to build anything.
Yeah.
But our people vote for them. And I'm not saying this because my own folks in Ghana, sometimes I ask them, look, if you say you don't want infrastructure, what is it that you want? People to send you money to put in your pocket all the time? Because where we live, there's nothing really. I mean, sometimes getting the sunshine even is a problem.
Yeah. They don't understand.
Getting a little bit of sunshine to support plants that you put by the side of your window is a problem. But the only thing that keeps them going is the infrastructure. You take out the infrastructure, these countries are doomed. A lot of European countries, they are doomed. Without the infrastructure, they will have nothing else. But our people don't get it. And they don't get it. It's not because they are illiterate, because sometimes the exposure is not there.
Yeah.
And I can't go and bring 32 million people to Europe to come and let them see what this means.
That will be a proper invasion.
Well, one can add some more.
So a man will be after you,
So I'll stop you.
Wow. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, we're going to be running up the program. But let me come to Frank quickly and I'll come back to Felix and then, and then we can just run up. So, looking at you've advocated for the prime ministerial system of democracy, where people we don't wait for 4 years or for something to get spoiled before you bring the person in. As things are going on, you are able to hold the person accountable. Say, tell me what you are doing about that. Do you think democracy should still go on in Ghana? See what happened in Nigeria in the last election that took place, and the fact that Felix is also talking of the fact that people go to the polls not well informed, not that they are uneducated, but because of sycophancy and all that stuff. So our visions are blurred before we say Jack.
Okay.
Do you think the democracy should go on?
Actually, as we see where we sit now, we can't do anything apart from going ahead with democracy, because the alternatives are not going to work. The alternatives that will be peaceful, that will be reasonable, will bring us back to the same square one. Now, if you want to go back to what we used to be years back, before which is the traditional, the chiefs are more corrupt now than anything. All these galamsey sites and other, are they not those who are selling the land?
Yeah, they are the ones who are giving it up.
Where Ochihini or whoever, Mwatinhini or whatever, have to go and sell a cemetery, where they assume what you call it, bodies of his ancestors. Are you getting it? That's not going to work. If you come to our clergy, we should hold a moral high ground.
Yeah.
They are equally as corrupt and compromised as we are. So what we do, military, it will be, people use it as a tool for revenge. People use it as a tool for revenge without due process. Even where we have the law courts are supposed to guide us, the courts are so corrupt. Our judges are corrupt. Talk less, bring a military person where lawlessness is going to be the other. I think it's that democracy can be good. We might have to look at how we modify this type of democracy, which is modeled around the US presidential executive power. And I think our constitution needs to change a lot. We've given too much power to the presidency. Yes, he acting as our chief executive does not mean he should have so much power. I think we should find a way of clipping the wings of whoever is in charge whoever is in charge. But I think that's the only. I mean, for now, in democracy, we have to work our way towards a democracy. For now, what we have is democracy. It's not democracy. Yeah.
Felix, let me come to you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, prime ministerial system, will it work in Ghana? I think we've tried that before under Prime Minister Buzia.
Yeah.
The problem that we have in our country, I mean, with the prime ministerial system, you are counting on the discretion of individuals to leave office before they are pushed out. And that's the reason why in this part of the world, people resign left, right, and center. And last week, the deputy prime minister had to leave. You know, in our part of the world, that kind of discretion doesn't exist, and I don't know whether that will ever come. Unfortunately, we also have a judiciary that, look, I've got to be blunt here, they are more corrupt than even the politicians themselves, and there is evidence to that effect. There's hard evidence. You know, I mean, the idea that, you know, a British or a German superior court judge would take a goat, a few bags of potato, I don't know what else. Maybe they may have, Anas may have served some drinks as well, I'm not so sure. And then he will write a judgment in terms of ownership of land or something like that, which is what we saw in the Anas video. And the idea that a judge at the Old Bailey would do something like that, it's almost inconceivable. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But in our part of the world, that happens. And nobody can convince me that even up to the stage of the Supreme Court, these things are not happening. It may not be bags of yam. It may not be rams. It may not be he-goat or she-goat. It may not be a buffalo or a cow. But it may be some other juicy things. Whether it's international appointments abroad, whether it's significant contracts to third parties that they have interest with, whether it's appointment of family relations into lucrative jobs in Ghana. Nobody can convince me that these sort of things are not happening, and that's the reason why anytime our Supreme Court makes a decision, we are all scratching our heads. What is it that they have actually made? What's the decision that they've actually made? So, yes, prime ministerial system may be okay, but it requires a lot of individuals using their discretion to the benefit of society. Because in the prime ministerial system, you expect ministers of state to resign, even sometimes when they've not been part of anything. It just happens that maybe departments that they're supervising have made a mess. And because they are leaders, the political leaders of these departments, they step aside, even though they themselves, as individuals, have no connection with that situation. Can I really see that happening in our part of the world? No. Good luck to you guys. Have a good day, and I will catch up with you tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Felix.
you very much, Felix. Yeah, have a lovely day. Well, listeners, that is it. That is it. It's quite sad because what hope has the ordinary man got?
We do have hope. Once we are alive, we have hope. It's about what we do.
Yeah.
what we do going forward. Actually, we know the problems. What we do, we're going to need a few unselfish people that are going to take it upon their head and say, Archie, let me give you an insight into something. The day Bawumia announced gold for oil, I was at that program, Association of Ghana Industries. It was under that program that he announced that. In fact, I was one of the invitees over there. There was this man, an Indian man. I'm not going to mention the name of the industry, but he's also one of the executives of the Ghana Association of Industries. And an issue crop up on a high table, and there was a discussion. It was like, all this, he actually tapped someone else. All this, let me find out from you. All these 3 billion. What do we need? Why does government need the 3 billion? We can raise the 3 billion
amongst ourselves.
He said, look, they are ready to even put in almost a 500 million if the government is serious and actually within the country itself. But you see, knowing what they know, they will not do it until. So actually, we need a political will. That's it. Here I am. These are my sins, Pope.
Yeah.
I am confessing that I've overbloated my government.
Yeah.
I have stolen some. I have actually done things that I shouldn't have done, and that I am even ashamed that I promised people that Accra will be the cleanest city in Africa, but it's now the seventh
most
dirtiest and filthy, most polluted city. That I promised our people that we move from taxation to production, but we've moved from production to more taxation. That we will now have a decent economy. Yet discussing the bread, not come there, but this one. Yet is a castle, not you. Are you getting me? To a point that you try to cry, who say you try because you're already dead. Are you getting me? Until we come to that point, if we get to that point, but you see, the motive for politics in our part of the world is to make money. Everything that we're discussing over here, everything that they're looking at, their interest is not there. When was the last time you heard Bawumia talking about the challenges that we face?
No.
Excuse my language.
Digitalization.
Actually, he doesn't understand what digitalization. He doesn't understand. Look, actually, were you here when were you the one I no. Okay, yeah, you were the one. That these SHS internets are not working. We have to intervene. For it to be restored. That problem has not occurred. That problem has really occurred. Are you getting me? That you give serum to people without connectivity. What does he understand by digitalization? He doesn't understand anything about it. So if he does understand digitalization, the first thing he will know that every digital economy there's potential risk. And therefore we will not be holding our data, our national data in Netherlands. Are you getting me? Again, you know that in the digital world, even music, when you are playing Facebook, you know that patency. You will not be calling a protocol that was signed in 2003, ECOWAS protocol, about ECOWAS citizen having a card to call ECOWAS citizen card Ghana card. Because that's fraud in itself. That is fraud. Because Parliament, as you speak, has not passed any law to say we have anything called Ghana card. That's why I marvel why parliamentarians will even sit there and allow a CIA or something that even mention Ghana card in it. Because the first thing they should be doing is going to challenge the basic right from the Ghana card. Because that is fraud. Intellectual property, that is fraud. It's a ECOWAS citizens card. The policy is ECOWAS citizen. All the digitization that they're talking about, actually, when you look at intercontinental African trade, that after that we have, the headquarters is in Ghana. 60% of the policy is about digitalization. to promote intra-Africa trade. This smart city concept, and how do we ensure that the more money the Kobe I have in as this plantain that I'm talking, I'll give you a classic example. I spoke to someone around Sefi area. It's a bunch of plantain. The maximum you get it over the 10 cities. So some of them who have a lot of it, they say they cut it and they give to people because it's not worth it selling.
Rot if you don't. Yeah.
But this same plantain, that bunch, you come to Accra, is 100 Ghana. How many farmers know that their plantain in the village is 100 Ghana? Anytime I go to Asket, Archie,
you have to load your car.
I load my car. I come sometimes 2-3 weeks. That's what I feed on.
Yeah.
I love plantain, so I go plantain, corn. As I speak to you now, I've authorized that they should buy 2 drums of corn in the village for me, because Accra. So at the end of the day, someone who has done marketing, right, who has access to a tablet and has connectivity, will say, if I move this plantain, I buy here, even if I give the farmers 15 Ghana, and I'm able to go, they are selling 100. How about if I lower the price? The person who is coming to come and buy it and sell it 100 Ghana, if I give it to them probably 80 or probably 60 Ghana, I also make money so that they don't have to travel here. So that I solve their problem. I deliver it to them. I take part of their bid, I cut their risks. Actually, that is what we're talking about. You do not go. Look at this thing that he went and commissioned at Amasia. South Africans, two South African young men team up to come and build a data center. 48 million worth of data center. That's what they're pumping. Okay. And you went and commissioned and talking about digitization. What have you done to it? Your data center that was built for Ghana has been run down to ground zero. The data center that we built, our taxpayers' money built, actually it's nothing now. So you data center, he can't even secure our data. Where I live, they said they've coded the streets. I tell a story. I was at home. I was about leaving, and I saw some guys. They're coming to read electric meter. They said they're coming to what they call it. They are doing survey on electric meters. They are basically counting them, and they are putting kind of stickers on them. And I think those stickers are electronic, can be read. When they came, I should open the door for them. I said, my sister. I said, no, we'll not open the door. I said, they will not open the door. They should leave the house. So why? There's the property of VCG. I said, yeah, I understand the property. I said, look, go to your bosses, tell them that this meter has been faulty. I've reported it. They came, they've been here 3 times. Anytime they came, we should turn the ACs on. They think we bypass the energy. We bypass it. They think they'll see the meter is reading. But there's a cable over there that is exposed.
You're talking to that, they need to come and sort it.
That thing has been going on for over a year. And I just said, look, if you want to label this meter, bring them, fix it, and I will allow you. But then no one should step here. And I open the door. And I open Leon. They should come in. And I drove off. And I told my sister, don't open anyone. Are you getting me? Yes, these are a lot of people. But you see, actually, there are natural things that Baumia cannot do anything, but doesn't have to do anything about. National Communication Authority, what role did he play in it when it was established? The policies over there, what did they do? Nothing. Default, Google Map, GPS, what did he do to Actually, good afternoon.
Well, listeners, interesting. Ghana, my happy home. All right, then. So this is why we bring the program to a close for today. To every one of you who tuned in today to listen to us, we salute you. And we promise you one thing for sure, that we're going to be coming your way tomorrow morning, God willing, with another edition of the morning show. But this evening, yes, we'll be bringing you a repeat broadcast of the BB Business Show. Means Business show at 6 o'clock, and then some lovely tunes coming your way this afternoon as well. So enjoy your day. We'll see you all tomorrow. It's been me, Archie, Mr. Frank Davids, and all the other members of the team saying have a lovely day. Enjoy this song. Well, I think it sums up our discussion nicely from the Zongo man. It says the problem of Africa. Bye bye.
The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. Degrees. Big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, mismanagement. Masters in looting. MSc in corruption. Bachelor of Science in nepotism. MSc in forgery. Bachelor of Arts in indiscipline. MSc in embezzlement. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Some of them went to London London School of Fools, where they were awarded